All right, lads. Welcome to the Naked and Famous podcast. We're back again. I'm Dan O'Cattle, and here we are.
Hey, how you guys doing? It's Rob Vieira.
Hey guys, Jimmy B.
Phil Gasparino, a.k.a. Phil the Thrill.
Phil the Trill.
What's going on?
He's here. Finally.
Oh,
the
man.
long-awaited
I've been
episode.
waiting for the call.
The man from the system. The man with the system.
The man with the system, the man with the plan.
So we've been waiting to get Phil on basically for a while now, mostly because we had such a good time working together. Anybody who doesn't know Phil, we met him at Brazen Fox, but we're going to let Phil tell her how it happened. Tell her how it is, Phil.
All right, so I'm gonna go way back to the beginning in the restaurant business for me. So when I was 16, I got a job at Blue Moon in Bronxville. I don't know if you guys remember. Blue Moon in Bronxville was a Mexican restaurant. I was a delivery driver. So I barely had my license. I'm delivering Mexican food. So that's what I did there. They did like caterings in the mornings and stuff, which was cool. So you would come in the morning and just deliver like one catering or two caterings and then be done, make good money. I mean, when I was 16, it was good money. It's probably nothing now, but I actually probably made more then than I do now. But.
Yeah. Restaurant business is tough.
So that was my beginning. And then I got fired there. I'm a huge Giants fan, right? So I got screwed, man. The Giants were in the Super Bowl, 2007. Giants went to the Super Bowl. They said they only needed 2 people to work. They picked me. I'm a huge Giants fan. They knew it. And the other people were Jets fans. I'm like, why didn't you ask them to work? It's a fucking Giants Super Bowl. I got to work on this day? So I said, look, I'm going to the game. I faked that I was going to go to the game. They said, bring your tickets when you come back. So I didn't have the tickets. I took off the day. I didn't have the tickets. I said I lost them. I made up a story.
Of course.
And they fired me. I was like, all right, whatever.
They fired you?
Yeah.
Scumbags.
Well, whatever. It's my only time I got fired in the restaurant business.
Yeah.
But
you have to think, like, Giants might never get into the Super Bowl again.
I'm not missing that game to work a delivery driver's job when I'm 16.
I know they're having a great season now,
And you
but
didn't.
Like, they might not. Yeah, you got to take that chance. It's like, fuck you.
So that was it there. So I got fired, and then I went walking around Bronxville looking for a job. And I remember I walked into Fogarty's in Bronxville. You must know Fogarty's.
Of course,
yeah,
Sean
of course.
Fogarty, right? Used to come into Brazen all the time.
Is it not JP Fogarty's?
JP Fogarty.
Yeah, but
so his
Sean's
name's John.
the-
No, well, John Fogarty is the owner. And
but
his son Sean,
comes into Brazen all
he
the time.
runs the place now.
Yeah.
But when I was there, I was 18.
Oh, sweet.
He ran the place. Mr. Fogarty ran the place. The
Yeah,
real
he-
Mr. Fogarty.
I heard that he is...
I will tell you all about it.
Yeah, do it.
So I walked into Mr. Fogarty. I walked into a couple places. I forgot which ones. I don't know. I was 18. It's so long ago. This is like, what, 16 years ago? 18? We're 34? Yes. So
Shit.
I walk in. I remember I was just like, do you guys have any jobs? And they were like, they looked at me. They were like, have you worked in... I said, hey, I was a delivery driver for Blue Moon. They're like, have you ever served? I was like, no. And then I remember she's an Islander, Karen. Karen's her name. I'm actually really good friends with Karen still. She like looked me up and down. It's like, oh, this boy should get a job.
Brilliant.
So I got the job right away. And Fogarty's is a crazy place to work. Oh my God.
They're busy.
That and Mr. Fogarty's a freaking maniac.
Man, here, listen.
He's
I've heard
crazy.
so many people saying that dude will tear you an asshole.
He finds out what you like. If you tell him, like, he'll be nice one day. He'll find out something that you like. Like I was into Irish football back then. I was on the Donegal team back then. He like found out that I was on it.
The
and he
only
goes,
Italian on the
yeah,
Donegal
Italian.
You got. By the way, you got to tell that story about the paper as well.
Mick Gasparino.
Yeah.
team. Nick Gasp.
That's like my main story. I was saving it for the trusted system, but I'll tell it here.
Nah.
So he found out that I liked Irish football, and one day I fucked up. I did something wrong. I forgot what it was, whatever. And he just started tearing at me. Yeah, you're not good at this. You can't be good at Gaelic football either. Fucking screaming at me. I'm like, fuck, man. I went home. I like bought an ounce of weed, smoked it all. I was like, this job sucks. So Fogarty's was nuts, man. Yeah, I'll tell the Mick Gasparino story now. So one day, I'm playing Gaelic football, and for those of you who don't know about it, you want to tell them? I don't know. You guys know about it?
Yeah, Irish football, it's the biggest sport in Ireland. I believe it's the largest non-professional sport in the world, right?
Probably.
They've got like an 83,000 person stadium, Croke Park. It's played by every county in Ireland, and New York is technically a county in the Irish football system.
Yeah.
But it's 15 aside, and then a ref.
It's fucking tough.
It's a very athletic sport.
You
so
got to
if
be
you're-
running the entire time.
Yeah.
If you don't have lungs, you're out.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It's like soccer and rugby mixed together, pretty much.
The amount of running, I'd never ran so much in my life.
Yeah.
Oh, insane.
And the field is like 100.
It's huge.
It's double the size of an American football
Yeah.
field. It's really big.
So I'm a really good athlete. I was when I was younger. So
That is still are.
to get on it,
You're a good athlete.
I was on the Donegal senior team, like the real team. So
Nice.
these guys get paid. Some of the guys.
Oh, wow.
So
Yeah, they pay them
Yeah.
guys to come out
And
from Ireland.
just to point in, that's very rare as well.
Yes.
Like even the big guys that play in Ireland don't really get paid. Like
Yeah.
some of
Yeah.
them get
No,
like set up with like a
well,
cushy
I'm sure.
job.
Yeah,
they
get, like, a good
nice
like-
things.
Yeah, they get
Yeah.
gifted things.
Yeah, exactly. But they don't get paid.
So like these guys get paid for each game, whatever, and then you get free drinks after. You get everything free,
Yeah.
whatever, food, drinks. So I'm on this team. I'm obviously better than most of the guys that are starting. Like as a forward, like I'll jump higher than any Irish guy.
Yeah.
I'm faster than any Irish guy. I got better hands than any Irish guy.
Anyone.
100%.
That's a challenge
100%.
to anybody in Ireland.
100%.
Any man in Ireland.
Any man in Ireland.
Phil Mick.
I will jump right over you.
Any man there.
So they kept me on the bench. Like I'm not Irish. You know, I can't. They never put me in.
That's the way it works.
I'm like, fuck this, man. So finally, they put me in one game, right? Put me in. I scored 2 goals, and that's hard in Gaelic football.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
normally hit it over the top post.
Yeah.
So I get in. I score 2 real goals, and that like never happens. So I'm like, all right, this is cool. They're like liking me then after that. So I go to work the next day at Fogarty's, and Mr. Fogarty always reads the Irish Echo. Is that what it's called?
Yeah, the one.
So he always reads the Irish paper. I'm like, let me see if I'm in there. I'm like, Mr. Fogarty, can I see the paper when you're done with it? And maybe I'm in the paper for my 2 goals yesterday. So I read the paper. I'm reading the Donegal game. So it goes, and Philip Mick Gasparino scores 2 goals for Donegal.
Mick
Gasparino.
They had to put the Mick.
Oh, man. They couldn't let some Italian Gasparino come in there and score.
I'm like, why didn't they just do O Gasparin?
Oh, Gasparino.
They had to put Mick
Or
Gasparino.
Gasparino.
Imagine the woman. Imagine the person writing that, and they're like Gasparino
We got to change this.
MC. Yeah. Oh god.
Brilliant.
That's the Mick
Did your
Gasparino.
family have a good laugh at that?
Oh, it's great. I
Yeah.
wish I kept that paper, man. I wish I had it still. I
Yeah.
don't know. I couldn't. I can't. I've tried looking up on Google. I can't find
You
it.
should call the Echo and be like, I'm looking for
I should do
this.
that.
You should.
That's what I should do.
I bet you they have
They
it.
The
definitely
problem
have
is
it.
finding the day that it happened. That's the problem.
In the
Oh, it
system
can't be
now,
that
they
hard.
probably just like.
Do you remember
Yeah,
the
they
team
probably
you were
looked that
playing
up.
Probably
against?
come straight up.
No, I don't remember, man.
Ah, fuck's
Come on,
sake.
man. You know me. My memory's short.
But anyway,
So-
continue with the route you're going.
Yes.
Phil.
So Fogarty's is a really tough job. You got to fucking do I was a waiter there. I became a waiter right away, and I had to be trained from square one. They were actually really great about it. The people that worked there, are awesome. I love them all. Maria, she has the one bad eye. Everyone knows her if you go to Fogarty. She's still there, I think. Fioli, Brazilian lady. I think she's still there too.
2 good eyes on
Two
field?
good eyes.
All right, sweet.
And Karen, she's not there anymore, but they were the main 3 that helped me out, taught me everything. And at Fogarty's, it's a tough job. You gotta, when you're a waiter, you gotta make the salads as a waiter.
Toss
You-
them too?
Yeah, you toss the salads.
The waiters at
you're
Fogarty's
pouring
are
the
tossing
soup,
salads.
You're doing the soups, like all the appetite. You're basically doing it yourself, and you're running the food, and you're busting the tables. So, and it's busy.
So you're working.
So you're working your ass off there. You're making good money too, though.
Yeah.
The money was great. I was like 18. I was making good money. I was like, oh, this is awesome. You know.
Right.
I loved it. But Mr. Fogarty was a fucking hard ass, man. Tough. You do anything wrong, he's on your ass.
How long
big
is
time.
Fogarty's
Like when you were
there?
talking to him about not him. What's his name? About the Blue Hill when they
Yeah.
were cursing at him like that. That's Mr. Fogarty.
Right?
Yeah.
But in an Irish accent.
Yes.
It's way more scary.
Yes. Very
It is.
scary. He was a
Old
scary
Irish
dude.
people scared the shit out of you. in
Anyone that
Ireland.
worked at Fogarty's knows. If you're watching this thing, you know. So that's all I gotta say. All right. I did a scumbag move at Fogarty's. My only scumbag move in a restaurant business or any business in my life to leave the place.
Right.
Me and this guy were supposed to work. Sergio, we were supposed to work the next day. We both said he got a job at this place called Chat 19 in Scarsdale.
I know.
I was like, yo, can I get a job there too? Both jobs right away, right? So the next day we were supposed to work at Fogarty's. We didn't show up. We both did it.
2 and 1.
the no
Yeah.
show.
We were the only 2 waiters on.
Oh.
So Mr. Fogarty was waiting.
I was like, fuck this, let's do it.
Oh.
And what happened?
And was it like a revenge
You
thing?
never heard from them?
They didn't care. They were probably fine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like we thought it was like the biggest thing. We got them.
Yeah.
And meanwhile,
And
it
it
was
was-
probably
it-
nothing.
it was
Waiting
pure
for him to come
revenge.
knocking your door
Yeah.
the next day.
Yeah. So, but that was like the only time I did that, and it was well deserved for him. Trust me.
So again, it was like revenge. You're like,
Revenge,
you know what?
big time. I'm like, this
Trust-
guy deserves this. You know?
Trust the
Yeah.
system.
So whatever. But you know what, Mr. Fogarty, honestly, he taught me a lot. I wouldn't be able to work I wouldn't be able to own restaurants now or have that job at Brazen if it wasn't for Fogarty's.
Right.
He taught me a lot. He was good. So besides being a hard ass, he means well, I think.
Yeah.
You know?
But man, that's the old Irish culture.
It
like
is the way.
I've worked for them, and it's like you got to think of imagine what his dad treated him like. If he was that much of a hard ass, imagine the time he got.
Yeah, he must have got it bad.
Oh man, he probably got a stick every time he.
So what I did to him was probably just like, I'll just be waiter today.
Yeah, exactly. He's probably there being
But that
like,
guy
these
works every fucking day.
Man, well, there you go.
I see him in Restaurant Depot still.
Yeah?
He's like 78.
2
Wow.
trolleys, no problem.
I see him in Restaurant Depot still. I'm telling you.
Wow.
All the time I see him there. So
Yeah, we just don't stop, man. There's tons of Irish people like that. They just like work.
he won't let
since,
anyone else
like,
do it.
They were born to the day they die. Just like keep
Sometimes
working.
you own a small business, you don't want anyone else to do it. I'm like that too, man. It's hard for me to let someone else go to Restaurant Depot for me.
Yeah, because they always come back with like the wrong box.
what are you doing?
You're
You're
like,
an idiot.
this is not the box, it's that box. It's not these fries, it's those fries.
It's funny because
Yeah.
I asked Kirby, I was like, Kirby, when do you think you ever stop? He's like, when I go under.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Is that what you said?
He's one of those guys. Yeah.
Man, but the thing is, I truly believe when you stop loading yourself up with work,
You'll
that
die.
you do die. That's
Yeah.
the trick. They want you to retire.
How many times have I seen people retire at like 70, not know what to do,
Bang.
and die right away?
That's it.
Yeah.
It's like you ever see the whole thing where it's like your grandmother dies, next thing you know, your grandfather dies like 6 months later.
Yeah, yeah.
That's a big. It's like, what are you gonna do? Like people don't know what to do anymore. If you don't have a purpose or a reason, you know, you don't think about when you wake up. Right? When I woke up today, or when you woke up today, I'm sure you were busy last night. We were busy
a lot of
last
shit
night.
going on.
Right? And then you wake up today, and it's like you didn't even get to think. It's like, oh, I got to be there at 9.
Yeah.
Then you come here, and we know as soon as this ends, we're all going to work again.
Yeah.
If we were able to just sit there and think about stuff, you probably would, think yourself into an early grave. The reality is being more busy helps you just get through a day. It's just another day. in the bank.
100%. Even though you're like, I got to do this.
Yeah.
But then you're like, all right.
At the
Once
end
you're
of
doing it.
It's not. It's,
like
it's
whatever.
just another day above
Yeah.
ground. But so go on.
So yes.
Chat 19,
Left
how'd that
Fogarty's, went to Chat 19. I worked for it was terrible there.
Where's
I worked-
Chat 19?
Chat 19 is in Scarsdale. It's all the rich people love the place.
Is it
It's
still
not
there?
that good,
It's still there.
but it's there. It's not good, but it's a nice place. It's a little bit like this, but it's huge, like the way it looks inside. But I hated the place, man. They wouldn't I'm a server there, and fucking, let's say someone, these are all old Jewish people, so they want everything the way they want it.
Yeah.
They're rich, they're old,
And Jewish.
and Jewish.
Right. Okay.
So they want so if you had an entree that came with whatever sides,
Yeah.
you cannot change it.
Right.
They wouldn't let you in the kitchen. So the person's like, all right, let me get, this entree, but I want, green beans instead of broccoli rabe, for example. So I'd be going in the kitchen, they want the green beans. I can't do it. I'm like, you got the damn green beans.
Yeah.
Yeah. So serious.
Because it's like, I got to go back out now,
Yeah,
tell
yeah.
these people
Yeah.
that they won't do the green beans. They know they got the green beans. I know they got the green beans, but the chef won't do it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
This is the only time in your life that you get told no. And it's me, the server from fucking Chat 19. So
Oh my god.
You're back at their door. It's me, the server from Chat 19 again.
no. So I quit that place within 3 weeks.
I thought
and
you would have liked doing that to people, no?
I mean, yeah, but now I would. Back then I was young and I was like, So what happened then? I became a doorman. Davey got me a job being a doorman. Davey from Brazen, he's my partner at Growlers now. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I got a job as a doorman in the city. This is not, obviously not the restaurant business, but it's similar. You got to please people. You got to open doors.
It's
to people.
still hospitality.
Yeah,
Customer
hospitality,
service, yeah.
same shit.
Yeah.
But these people are rich. It's a boring job, man.
Never telling them no.
So when you're a doorman in the city, most of the time you got to do both. So you're either a porter or a doorman. So you got to either do the garbage part, sweeping, the vacuuming in the building, things like that, or you could be a doorman. I like the porter part,
Right.
Because I'm doing stuff. I'm cleaning stuff.
You got something to do.
Day goes by quick. When
of
you're
course.
standing at that door waiting for someone to come, that day takes forever.
Yeah.
Forget about it.
The
I'm sitting there with the
anticipation.
umbrella practicing my golf swing. So that job was boring for me. And then I remember these guys, all the guys I worked with, there was no women. It was all guys, right? But they acted like women. They all talked behind each other's back. Like
Yeah,
whoever I'm working with, they're talking about the other guy. Talking shit about the other guy.
He doesn't
I'm like,
open this door
You
quick
guys
enough.
ever fucking just appreciate each other at all? At all? So I just one day I was like, I had enough of this shit. I called Vinny. Vinny. You guys must have talked about Vinny on the show.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He's come up a couple of times.
Yeah. So
we
I
actually
call
named a
The
cocktail after him a
mysterious,
couple of days
the
ago.
mysterious Vinny.
Yeah. So I've never bartended a day in my life, right? I called Vinny. Vinny was working at Brazen at the time. I said, Vinny, man, you got any openings at Brazen? I'm dying over here. This job sucks. He's like, actually, yes. Come in tomorrow for an interview. So the second he said that, I turned, I said, I quit, I left.
Yeah.
I didn't even have the job yet.
Oh, God.
So I was like hoping. So I just quit and left. And I go in the next day. I was bald at the time. I had the bald hair.
I remember that.
Vinny took me in. I talked to Neil. And then I talked to Declan. And I remember talking to Declan. I was like, he talked to me for a minute. I was like, oh, so when do I come in? He's like, oh, you don't have the job quite yet. You have to start training. I was like, okay, all right. No problem. So I started training. So I got the training job. So right, this is great.
Yeah,
I pretended that I
in the door.
bartended. I told him that I bartended at Dirty Nelly's.
Nice.
And I told Cassidy. Cassidy's the owner of Dirty Nelly's for you guys out there. It's a place in Bronx, McLean Avenue in Yonkers. It's a little bar. So I told him, he knew Cassidy because he used to bartend with him at Rory Dolan's.
Ah.
Yeah.
They bartended together at Rory Dolan's, Declan and Cassidy.
100%.
So I told him that I bartended at Nelly's. I told Cassidy to, just in case, tell him that I did. So, but I told him, I said, look, at Nelly's you only get, bottled beer and shots. So I don't really know the mixed drinks or whatever. He'd be like, oh, you'll be okay. So I said, all right, cool. So I remember training at Brazen, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on at all.
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
my God.
It is
You
dropped
make-
in the deep end,
Like
right?
a fucking mango martini, whatever. But like I remember Neil coming out to me, he's like, I don't think it's supposed to be that color. I was like, yeah, that's it.
You're telling him?
Well, he would, because I'd make like a whatever martini, and it'd be like the wrong color. He'd be like, I don't think that's supposed to be like that. I was like, yeah, it is.
Mango martinis are great.
Reassure him. Please, don't worry. Get back to
Or
your
just
job.
pretend like I knew what was going on. So I remember the funny thing actually. So I'm training on Saturday night. So it's it's busy, whatever. I'm doing all right now. This is like my last day training. So I'm done training. It was like 10 o'clock. So I finished training. I went to my car, changed, came back to party. So I was like 24 at the time. I was
Oh
like,
my
Brazen's
God.
awesome.
So hold on. So you just finished up your training.
Yeah.
And then you came back in to fucking...
To hang out. Yeah. I finished my training. I go to my car, change, come back. So the second I come back in,
cool.
I got my SpongeBob shirt on. I remember.
that one.
I come right,
Phil's notorious for wearing like the most casual clothes
Yeah,
you'll ever see.
yeah.
To the point where it's like a lot of the time he'll wear cartoon characters on his t-shirts. It's brilliant.
I got my Mario. This is actually a Zelda shirt. So I come back in. Declan comes to me right away. Phil, do you want to work tonight? I'm short a man. I go, yeah, no problem. Back to my car, put clothes on, come back. Behind the bar, the unmain side. I got Silvio and Eugene next to me. It
That's
couldn't
pretty
have
good.
been two better guys
Yeah,
at
that's
the
pretty
time.
good.
I swear to God. Couldn't have been two better guys. If you guys are watching, you guys, I appreciate it so much because every time I got like a hard drink, I go to one of them and say, can you make this for me? Chocolate martini. Eugene be like, no problem. Silvio, no problem. I'd be like, I got the Bud Lights. You know, anyone comes, 5 Bud Lights, no problem. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah.
Second I get anything else, like I could do like vodka sodas.
Of course,
But like, any weird martini, they help me out.
Especially in,
Those dudes are
in
great.
Brazen
Yeah.
Fox, where it's so much volume, you don't have time to think about it.
No.
It's either you got it or you don't
Yeah.
got it, and if you don't got it, pass it
So
on.
I just gave up immediately. So I just gave them the tough drinks and I did whatever I could and it actually worked out. Honestly, being thrown behind the fire like that is probably the best way for anyone to learn. You guys know that.
100%.
So that was great. That was a great start for me. It was awesome. I had a good time that night. And Eugene and I told Eugene and Silvio this many times. I always thanked them for that day. And they appreciate that. They're good.
How's Silvio doing at the moment? I haven't seen.
He's doing good.
heard
I
anything
think he's got
from him.
more than one kid now.
yeah,
I think.
100%. I think he's onto his third.
Silvio's a great dude. Great
Yeah.
dude.
Silvio-
Eugene and Silvio both really great dudes.
Yeah,
You know,
Eugene's
especially
everybody
learning
knows
from
I've
Eugene.
never met anybody in my life who works the amount that Silvio works.
Yeah, it's insane.
I remember working with Silvio at Brazen one time. He got banned from doing overtime at the fire department halfway through.
Too much, right?
Right? One time I'm working with him at Brazen, and he did the opposite of what every man does. He rings his wife, right?
Oh,
and he's
God.
like, oh, I'm going out with the lads tonight. I'm just letting you know. She was mad at him for working so much. He pretended to go out on a night out so that he could go to work.
Yes.
Yeah.
I remember that.
He all switch around.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
Right?
it is,
I was
yeah.
I've never met a
Silvio,
guy like
you. Are
you.
the
Yeah.
man.
Right?
That is like the strangest thing
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
anyone's ever said.
Everyone's always like, I'm going to work, then going out.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm going out, and then he's going to
the
work.
opposite. It's like, oh, you're finally going out. Good. He's
Yeah.
going to work.
Yeah. Silvio used to finish his shift, and as soon as his ass would sit the couch,
Bang.
he'd be like
Sleeping.
this.
Oh,
he'd
man.
be drooling out of his mouth.
Yes.
And then he'd go to the fire station.
Yes.
Yeah, and then we'd finish counting the cash and do whatever, and we're like, Silvio, and he goes, back to work.
Time for work.
And he'd drive to the fire station.
Yeah.
And then he'd go to the fire station, do whatever he's got
He's
to do.
big
And
time.
then he'd go from the fire station
Back
back
to
to Brazen, back to the fire
And
station.
then on his day
back to
off, he'd
Brazen.
be like, fixing his house.
Yeah.
He'd be like doing the deck. He wanted to do everything himself.
Yeah,
as
he's
well.
crazy, man. I
Yeah.
can't believe it. But
Man, he
whatever.
was good inspiration though.
Yeah.
To work beside people like that was good.
Yeah, I've
But
had a stretch like that. I've had some stretches like that, you know? I'm
But
sure you
he's-
guys have too.
He's also kind of organized himself really well, and he would work like that for so long, for like 3 weeks, and then he would take like 5 straight days off.
Yeah.
And he would go to like California.
Yeah, do
with his
something
family.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, all right, I'm not going
He's
to
a
take
big
any
camper.
days off. I'm just going to put them all together and then
They go hiking
somewhere
for,
with the
like,
family.
Yeah.
Which
Good move.
is really cool.
That's
So then,
Really
Phil,
cool to
right
see.
after a busy Saturday,
So, yeah, I mean, then I was good. I started working at Brazen. I was fine. You know, I mean, I had to keep learning, but I got it. I got it quick. I'm a quick learner, you know, and I became a really good bartender, I think, because of that place. And then after when did you guys come? A few years later?
so I.
Oh, that
came-
was 2000.
You were there 3 years when I got there.
Okay.
I'm pretty
So I
sure
was 27 by the time you guys got there.
I came into Brazen, and you were pretty much the main guy when I came to
Yeah.
Brazen. Seamus thought he was the main guy, but it was very obvious that Phil was the main guy because Phil was definitely the fastest at the time, and we knew
Yeah.
this because we would do on the busy days like St. Patrick's Day, and sometimes like what's they doing Oktoberfest and
Yes.
stuff.
They give
would
out the ring?
They give us out the ring on what your number was, and Phil always had the number 1 ring.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was
so
always really
he
fast.
was
That was my thing.
fast. He would get put in the strong positions,
Yeah.
and then at the end of the night, he would organize to make sure that people were doing the tips, people weren't dicking
Yeah.
around. But he did it without anyone kind of knowing. I don't think anyone really recognized that you were doing that, even till
That's
after,
true.
because you were doing it and you were having a good time.
Yeah.
So it didn't seem like you weren't serious.
I always have like something in my head that things need to get done. Like I'm crazy ADD. So I'm like, if something's not getting done, I got to either do it myself or tell someone else to do it. But the best thing for me then, the best thing for the restaurant was for me to be bartending and someone else to do the other things because I was the fastest.
Yeah.
So I would just be like, I should be bartending. Sparno, you should be doing the fucking tips. Things like that. Hey, Sparno.
But at the same, and Spano always did the tip section.
He did, yeah.
Spano was like the master of no one put in tips into the system faster than Spano.
Yeah,
He'd
he
sit
did
there
that.
with like a bundle of them. It was like a video game. But I feel like when I was at Brazen, I learned a lot from the crew I was with. At one point, that was the best team that I was in.
Really?
100%.
Oh, it was great.
It wasn't because we were the most technical, and it wasn't because we were at the time the most knowledgeable. It was because as a team we stood together very well. Like if Phil had to do something, someone was there.
Yeah.
There was no weak link. Pretty much everybody who worked there went on to open a restaurant.
Yeah.
Right.
If anything came up for somebody, anyone else would fill in. We were good like that.
We were real good, and we all had a good time.
I think when you have a team like that, it doesn't feel like you're actually working. You can pull like a 16.
I never thought I was working
and then
there.
you're like, let's do it again the next day because it was fun, it was easy. Like that's the best thing when you have a team like that.
Man, those years of my life didn't feel like work.
It didn't feel like work at all.
Didn't feel like work.
We made a bunch of money. We had a great time. We were extracurricular activities galore.
Galore.
It was nice. It was nice and easy, you know?
But it wasn't easy. If like that's the
true.
thing is like it felt easy, but it wasn't easy.
Yeah, it wasn't easy.
Man,
Tough.
we were ringing in for like I would go as far to say as like show me another bar that was ringing in more than us. We were crushing it.
Oh.
Like I don't care what anyone says. Like I went down, worked in Connolly's. I went down and like that's busy on St. Patrick's Day. We were blowing them out of the water on St.
Brazen
Patrick's
was
Day. in
definitely
Brazen. Man, Rory Dolan's,
one
we were
bar.
blowing them out of the water. We had
I believe
like,
that's the #1 bar in New York.
has to be.
In my head. I don't know. I don't know the
this
real
one over
numbers.
here, Brazen
in
Pop.
New York State.
like not
New York State.
not number one.
I mean, money-wise.
No,
Yes,
I
like
hear
Maybe
you.
the ring.
revenue-wise.
I can't
I-
see
no, I get
anyone
that.
ringing more. Like they have 9 bartenders flat to the mat.
All
working
9 of them.
with municipal car parks at every side, with
Yeah.
people driving from Stamford all over Westchester, all over New York. It's packed to the brim to the point where they're turning people away on the weekends. Show
Yeah.
me another place like that, and it's not like bottle service where they're sitting. It's like
Yeah.
how many people can we get in here, and how you never stopped. When you were in Brazen, like you did, once it got busy, you did
That's
not
it.
stop for like 4 hours straight. It was just like
Until they kick people out at the end of the night. That's it.
and it wasn't like drinks that took 3 minutes. It was drinks that took 20 seconds and you never stopped. So it's like, it was just so fast paced. I remember it was just like 10 shots, 7 Jack and Cokes, 7 Jack and Cokes, 5 Bud Lights, 10 shots. I used to be like, I remember Declan.
10 fireballs, $80.
You remember Declan walking around with black sacks, emptying the cash out of the drawers into black sacks?
Oh, on the big nights? Yeah.
Man, he would be emptying the drawers multiple times into black sacks.
And he would always come out in the bar. He'd
Big
be like,
smile.
great country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking at this dude with giant garbage cans,
Great
filling
country.
it with money. And I'm just like, wow.
Crazy.
So when did you start at the same time as Dano or a little after?
No, Dano started a year before me. I
A
think.
year?
Yeah, about a year before. I was working in the city at the time.
I rang James.
Yeah.
So I remember Dano first. I remember Dano first got there. I was like, shit, competition. Shit, competition for the ladies. And then I was like, wait a second. It's Seamus's competition. All the girls who like the Irish accent don't care about me anyway.
Different category.
Yeah.
Different
Like,
category.
actually, this is good for me.
Yeah.
It's like having another bar at the end of the road.
Yeah.
It's good competition.
Yeah.
Seamus was real worried.
Yeah.
He thought I was coming in to
Seamus,
steal the Irish spot.
once Dano got there, Seamus to the wind. No girls
To
for
the
him.
win.
Those guys.
It was brilliant.
I remember you, but you're always a good dude, you know. And then James came in. He was always so nice. You were like more quiet than Dano. You weren't so outgoing, you know.
Yeah,
but you were always a
yeah.
quiet dude. I remember we got along very well in the beginning. Like, you might. Some people were like, "Oh, James, I don't know about him." I was always like, James is a good dude, man.
I think Jimmy
Thank
B
you. Thank you.
came into himself at Brit, but he was so young. What age you started?
Man,
Yeah,
I
you were
think-
young, man.
I think I was like 20. No
Yeah.
joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
James
think
was
I
the
was.
youngest guy,
I think
like by a long shot.
If I wasn't 20, I was definitely 21.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was just after getting into the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
Like
pretty
I
much.
started.
And you didn't know much either when you started.
I didn't know much. I didn't know much when I started in the city. I knew a little bit more when I was working in the city because I was working there for almost a year. But when I went to Brisbane, I feel like I was okay.
Okay.
You know, it's
Yeah.
just that everything was like all over the place. Like we throw this idea back and forth. Like, you know, the mint station where you're making mojitos. For some reason, anytime anybody anywhere asks for a mojito, you always have to run around.
Yeah.
and you
Meanwhile,
gotta make them over here.
instead of just getting mint.
Yeah.
Just
And it's
mint in every
for
station.
just- Yeah.
Why didn't we ever do that? We're
Man,
so stupid.
I tried to do it
Because
one
no
time.
one told us to.
I did it one time. I set up one time and I put everything everywhere. I'm like, okay, this might work. And then I go to the
Someone must have
bathroom.
laughed at you.
I go to the bathroom after everybody comes in at like 6 o'clock. I come back and all the mint is right back where it's supposed to be.
But this
I'm
is
like,
the thing. It's like, right, there
The
was
fuck?
no direction,
Yeah.
which was great.
Yeah.
It's like
It's
we're
pointless.
scarce on the mint.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's boxes and boxes of it downstairs.
If you worked in Brazen, right, you
God.
remember there was one bottle of Angostura beers, and you had to run around. If someone asked for an old fashioned, you're like, right, where's the Angostura? You had
Yeah.
to run around this giant square bar looking for a bottle of Angostura to come back to your one station to make it. Meanwhile, you just rang in like 50 grand that night. It's like, why
Yeah.
did you not? Should be Angostura hanging out of the ceiling.
I mean, on a busy
Yeah,
night,
yeah.
I'm telling the person, there's no mint. There's no.
I remember
old-fashioned.
that. Yeah,
I don't
there's
have
no
an
mint.
orange. Like it's orange right there. I don't have it.
Yeah,
You want a Jack and Coke? It's off.
That's literally how it was, right? No mint. I remember that after a certain time, no mint.
Yeah. I don't have it. I'm sorry.
But you know what's crazy is like, right, no one ever delegated it. That's the thing. It's like,
Yeah,
if
there was
you
none of that.
imagine you own Brazen Fox now, right?
Yeah.
Now take it. We came in, they're already running years, and they've already done what they need to do. They've achieved what they're trying to achieve.
Mm-hmm.
But if you own Brazen Fox now, and you see me and Jimmy B running around trying to make a mojito every time,
You guys are idiots.
you'd be like, put mint right there every
Yeah.
time.
Put it in a
mint
glass, a little water. That's it. Done.
Yeah.
Just like this with the mint.
yeah.
there. But that's how it was. That's just how it was, and that's how it is in some bars. Honestly, it's like it's not necessary. Because they're just crushing it. Like with vodka sodas, it would maybe be once out of the whole night you needed mint.
Yeah, no, that's true.
But
But that one time it was a pain in the ass.
Oh,
no,
Yeah, it was,
The
yeah,
craziest
100%.
thing is the credit card system, right? Like we would.
you were
put-
talking about this once on the
we-
on the show, right?
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
we would put the credit cards underneath any random given
Yeah, the
bottle.
bottle.
And
Yeah.
then Phil would come looking because the guy'd go to him being like, give my credit card. And he'd be like, who are you? He'd never seen him before in his life. Now Phil's running around the whole bar checking every credit card.
Towards
to
the
see.
towards the end of my stay at Brazen, I would just tell the person, "Where'd you open the damn tab? Just go over there and get it."
Yeah.
You know, instead of me going elsewhere, just get someone else. Go there. I'll
But
get
you were good at keeping calm.
Yeah, I'm very famous for keeping calm as a bartender.
Yeah.
Very, very famous. The whole world knows.
The calmest bartender.
I
cool
really
as
am.
a cucumber.
So like so many times, like people would, people say stupid shit especially at Brazen.
Yeah, it's younger crowd.
It's younger kids.
People
They
don't
think
know.
you're not making any money.
Yeah.
They think they make more money than you. I remember this one time, this kid, I was working the outside bar, man. And everyone knew how calm I was. I never got out of hand with anything. Like someone says something to me, I'm either going to give him something back to make him cry, real witty, because I've been surrounded by Irish people my whole life, so I got the wit.
You got it.
You got the wit.
So I was surrounded by Irish people.
Surrounded.
All the time. I'm Italian, all right? So
Mick Gasparino.
Mick Gasparino, yeah. So no matter what, I have the wit because of the Irish people. But that's the one thing you guys gave me that is good. Not the food, nothing else, all right?
None of the food.
So this one guy, I forgot what he said, man. He was this young kid. He was like, it's like, what are you making? Like $10 an hour? I make $20 an hour. I'm like, why is this guy doing this? I'm making him he's like, where's my Long Island iced tea? I'm like, I'm making it. God damn.
Because he's a dick.
Yeah. So he kept going on about it. He's on and on about it. He's like, what are you, like, you blah, blah, blah. You're making this. I'm like, you know what? I gave him the fucking Long Island iced tea, and I just slapped it right out of his hand over the bar into his face. And then, like, my boy's little brother saw it and grabbed him, threw him to the ground, and started kicking him.
Straight away, he's just like, it's on.
So Declan, the owner of Raisin, sees this happen. Of course, the one time I do something like this, he sees
typical.
He goes, I thought I was in trouble. He goes up to me. He's like, Phil, I've never seen you do anything like that. That was pretty cool.
Yeah. He has to know the kind of like out of all the shitheads, he's got to know that some people are like big time shitheads.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
100%.
I mean, you're getting all the shitheads there. I mean, you get the good people too, but
you get great people, but you also get people who are like waving money in your face, like
Oh, I'm like, yeah, I see you.
And then you serve everybody else except you.
Except for them.
Yeah. Oh, that was the best.
Yeah.
Someone's waving money, you'd be like, I'll get to you last.
Yeah.
Just keep them around, fanning you
That's
down.
what-
thanks. I appreciate it.
I was high.
That's what's funny with Brazen actually is that now I didn't think about this for a long time, but it was you actually would have to. There's so many people to serve. Like you'd have like 8 people trying to get service at once that you'd have to actually pick each one who you're serving. So it would be like this guy dicked me last time.
Yeah,
you'd like keep looking right by him. Brilliant.
So that's the Brazen, and then should we move on?
Yeah. Then Jackie B's came, right?
So Vinny, of course.
We got to have Vinny on.
There's a lot of slagging that goes on about Vinny on this podcast and my podcast.
Yeah.
You
Trust the
slag
System
him as
podcast.
well?
Oh, we slag him every episode.
Yeah.
Every single episode we slag Vinny. So there's a lot of slagging. But I'm gonna go opposite
Right.
Vinny this episode. Vinny's one of the greatest guys.
Oh yeah. 100%.
That any one of us know. And Vinny's always had my back. He got me that job at Brazen, And then when Jackie B's came, he picked me.
Yeah.
So
he got me thinking entrepreneurial. Vinny started giving me books to read and stuff.
Yeah.
He definitely got me. He gave me like Rich Dad Poor Dad. He just kept sending me books to read.
Good stuff.
And at that time, I was
Who
like,
sent him Rich Dad Poor Dad?
you?
You did, yeah?
I don't know, maybe.
But and Phil was the book
I
master.
knew about that
You
before.
were the first one in Brazen to get entrepreneurial, though.
Yeah, I was.
He set up this crazy business.
Let's go with that first.
Yeah, he
Shit,
said-
before Jackie B's. I
Yeah.
forgot.
You were killing it with the books.
I was doing 100 hours a week at that point. Okay, so I actually wasn't just working at Brazen. In the beginning, I was, but by the time Dano and James got there, I was bartending at Nelly's, during Nelly's too, Thursday nights. So I would have my 4 or 5 shifts at Brazen. I would do Thursday night at Nelly's, and then me and my boy McPhail, who I think you know.
Yeah, I know.
So McPhail, we started this Amazon book business. So
It was genius.
Yeah, it was genius. He was actually the mind behind it. I was just the money. I had a lot of money from bartending. I would just pay for everything, but I would go along with him. What we would do, we bought these scanners on eBay. So every book has a barcode in the back. So you hook the scanner up to Amazon on your phone. So you would have the phone onto this Amazon app, kinda, and then you have the scanner that just, instead of having, in the beginning, we would have to put the number in, the ISBN number into the phone slowly. And then finally we got the scanners and scanned each one, and it goes right into the phone real quick. This is great. We could scan 100 books real quick. So what we would do is scan all the books in libraries that sell books. So most libraries sell books for $0.25 or 50 cents. Most people don't know that. And then thrift stores like Goodwill and what's the other one? The fucking whatever. It doesn't matter. So we go into
Salvation
all these
Army.
stores. Salvation Army.
I
Yes.
remember at one point you started combining, which is clever. It's because you never get off work. You were combining your vacation with book hunting.
Yes.
So Phil would be like, I'm going to Florida. There's this main big wholesale convention or
Yeah.
whatever it was, and he'd be like, I'm going to fly down to Florida, hang out there for 3-4 days,
Do books.
yeah, and then come back.
in the daytime. Yeah.
Which that's genius.
We
It's
did
like
that.
then you learn you're never actually off work.
Yeah.
You
That was when I first saying, okay, now I can work all the time, and which sucks, but it's good too.
That's when it comes fully entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
Like your life becomes work.
Yeah.
But then you just structure your life around the work.
Yeah.
You know, like I was just telling Dan, like I went to meet a potential investor on Sunday. We went for brunch. I was like, yeah, I'm having brunch, but this is work. You know what I mean? Like yesterday we went to the coffee shop.
Yeah.
We're sitting there and shooting the shit, drinking coffee. This is definitely work. 100%. You know?
we went to Climbing Wolves, right?
Yeah, Climbing Wolf, yeah.
Just to shout it out, Climbing Wolves, great spot out in Dobbs, right?
Yeah, Dobbs Ferry, owned by a couple of brothers, and there's another guy who runs with them called Jake. Place is really, really, really fun. Huge place, and one of the first places I think that I've been to in Westchester County that actually really know about their coffee.
Yeah, they do great coffee.
Like when they're pouring the coffee, you see it, and there's literal artwork on top of the coffee. I'm like, oh, this shit is
Like you.
that's all right. You know, I'm getting there.
James
I'm getting
is
there.
working on it.
Yeah, I'm
He's
getting
been
there.
getting good.
You know
That
how
was
many?
nice.
You know how many coffees I made to get that?
I'm sure you did a lot.
I've
Probably a
made.
couple hundred.
That's tough, man.
I've made like hundreds
Listen,
and hundreds.
one
of
week
coffees.
we went through an extra case of milk
To
because
do that?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes,
To
they
practice
were
it?
just they
Yeah.
were just going back and forth. Him and
Yeah.
Tony were going
Hey,
back
practice
and
makes
forth
perfect, man.
practicing.
But
Yeah.
now we're going and outsourcing our knowledge by going to like different places that can teach us stuff, such as Climbing Wolf, and they brought us in behind the place, show us their expressive.
Yeah, you
shit.
guys do a lot of that.
But I feel like
is
that's
cool.
part of we gained that from like I gained that from you guys, honestly, from seeing you with the books. That was the first thing that got me going.
I remember you always asking me about the books.
Yeah.
Because you were very interested.
But
in
tell
that.
the people about it because it's amazing.
So the books is amazing. So what we used to do was we go to the bookstores and the thrift stores. We'd get all the good books that we could. We'd have to come home to my house, box them up, do them, send them to Amazon. Amazon then, we do FBA. So when you do FBA in Amazon, you send all the stuff to Amazon, and then Amazon sells it for you. So when someone buys a book, Amazon sends it Prime. That's how you get your stuff Prime.
Yeah.
It's someone that sells it through Amazon instead of selling it from their house. So that's Prime.
But you
So-
were just sending them like crazy.
We
amount
send
of
them all the
inventory
books
of
that we have.
I remember one time Phil turned around to me and he was like, I've got like $200,000 in books on Amazon. And I was like, what? And he was like to me, you'll see one day it's slowly transferring into real funds. And I was like, it didn't make sense to me.
Yeah,
when
it
he
really
said
doesn't make sense.
But then after a while, I seen then he's like, look, now I've got $8,000. People have bought $8,000 of my whatever amount of stock of books.
Yeah. So yeah, it's good. So then after we start, at that time in my life, I was working 100 hours a week easily. So I was working at either Brazen or Nelly's. I'd have maybe Monday night off, but every other day I'd wake up 8 a.m., go get books with McPhail, drop him at the White Plains train station, come to Brazen, work till 4 in the morning, get up at 8 in the morning, do the same thing.
I remember looking in the back of Phil's car, just be full
Yeah.
of books. Like this guy, people must have been like, "Oh, he must be real smart."
I've never read a book in my life. So that was tough for me, man, doing that. That was a hard time. But
Did it pay off? Was it worth it?
I don't know. I can't tell. It paid off in my mind. I don't know about money-wise. I think it might have.
It probably funded more investments.
What I do with my money is try to make more money.
Yeah.
That's all I do with it. So
But that's what it's really for.
with my boy McPhail, I've sold books. We've sold sneakers. We sold hundreds of thousands worth of sneakers. We sold, remember the Snapchat glasses when they came out?
Yeah.
We were selling those. He'd be online in the city. They would only drop once a day. The Snapchat glasses, he'd be on the line. There used to be like this group of Asian people waiting on the line
You should just
to
follow them.
sell them to someone. We used to buy them off the Asians for a little less, then sell them on eBay for like $300 each. I remember you were talking about Rockefellers here. I sold one to the Rockefellers.
Yeah?
It was like someone Rockefeller in Rockefeller Plaza. It had to be them. So
But
whatever.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Is
We've
like,
sold those. We sold sneakers, books, everything you can
want
imagine.
money.
Watches.
but you want money to use it as a tool.
Yes.
That's all it is.
I literally only use my money to try to make more money. Sometimes it doesn't work out. Sometimes it does.
Yeah.
That's what I do with my
I
money.
don't think people take seriously. Like
A lot of
takes
people
money
don't
to
like
make
that.
Money.
100%.
If you don't have money, you can't make
Yeah.
money. And people,
My
like,
girl doesn't like that.
they can
that I do
accumulate
that.
it.
She uses money for clothes. I'm like, I'm using money to make more money for us for the future.
Yeah.
She doesn't get it.
But
I'm like, wake up.
It's the only way. Wake up.
Yeah.
It's the only way.
So that's what I do. But yeah, once then I stopped working at Brazen. because I opened Jackie B's with Vinny, which was a hard decision for me. Hardest decision of my life.
Man, stop working at Brazen for anybody's a hard decision because
Very.
it's the most financially like stable position you could have in our industry, I would say. Like, or one of the most. Like, you're guaranteed
That's
X
probably
amount.
one of the best jobs you can have as a bartender, I think. And I lost it. So I had to work twice as hard to gain, you know, things like, you know, the money that you get from there, which I haven't even gotten yet.
Yeah.
Still to this day. But hopefully it'll be all worth it in the end.
But you've gained status.
Definitely.
And you've gained competency. People look at you as a competent person
Yeah.
now because of that.
Yeah.
So, you know, they're more valuable essentially, you know, because you can use them like money as a tool.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
Instead
for
of-
instance, let's get into it. You opened Jackie B's. How much effort did you put into Jackie B's initially?
A lot. I had no idea what I was doing either. I remember it was me and Vinny trying to open this place from nothing. It was like a deli before. So it was like a vegan deli. So we had like some ideas. Scott was our partner there. He had Giannoni's Deli in Scarsdale, very popular place over there. He wanted to open the place. He asked Vinny. Vinny said, okay. He asked Vinny because Vinny used to go there for breakfast every day before work. So he didn't even know Vinny. Vinny brings me along. I don't know Scott.
Brilliant.
Scott doesn't know me. They didn't like me at all.
No?
They thought I was just a waste of time for them.
Oh,
Meanwhile, I was the most important thing that they knew. So, so I come in. They're like, we don't need this guy, you know, to me, right? So I'm like, you'll see. I say, look, I'm not going to talk shit. I'm just going to work. I'm not going to tell you what I can do. I'm just going to do it. So that's me. So I'm there every fucking day, you know, working, doing things. Basically what you did here. I know you guys went from scratch here. You guys tore this place down and built it up. We did the same thing at Jackie B's.
what you gotta
Jackie
do.
B's is not as nice looking as this, but we kind of did it cheap there. Scott just wanted to open the place.
But I think we honestly, when it comes to this place, what helped us was we did it very cheap, but this was an 80-year-old bar. You were doing it with a square box, essentially, like, you know,
Yeah.
a deli.
Yeah,
It
not a bar.
was definitely, it definitely, we gained some character from this place that had already been
Yeah.
an old restaurant.
which is cool. But yeah, so opening it up, like I had no idea what was going on. I even told Scott, I'm like, look, I don't know what's going on. I'm just going to learn and try. So like ordering liquor or ordering, I did all that. I did all the beer ordering, all the liquor ordering. I didn't do the food. We had a chef at the time, luckily. He had all that. So I was like, all right, good. Because I didn't know anything about that stuff, you know? It's like, I know the bar. I know all the liquor you need. I know all the beer you need. No problem. So I did all that. I learned it. I kept doing that. That was my thing. And I'm like real a stickler. Like if the bar is not, like I know you guys do a good job here. If the bar's not, if all the bottles aren't facing out, if you're missing something, I go crazy, you know?
But you should, right?
Yeah.
You should.
So like if the beer's not all facing out nice, if you're missing a row of beer, anything, I'll flip out on you, like Mr. Fogarty. So
You learned well.
yeah, so that's like my thing. I always keep everything nice. So I remember like if I wasn't there for like a couple days, I come back, I'd be fucking like, oh my god, what the fuck have you guys done?
Stressed out of your mind.
Fixing the whole thing up.
I
and
know
shit.
how that feels.
Yeah, you know. So Jackie B's, I had that for Jackie B's. It became a busy place, man. It was good.
What date did you get Jackie B's?
I got Jackie B's. I think it started in 2019, February.
February 2019.
February
and then
2019.
March came.
So I left. No, next year. I had a year
it's 2020.
non-COVID.
Right.
So I had a year non-COVID in there, not making money, but it was busy. I'm like, why aren't we making money? Blah, blah, blah.
Why do you think you just weren't making money?
It's just, it was a tough spot to make money.
Right.
Small place, high rent,
Big kitchen.
big kitchen. Everyone's getting paid too much. The kitchen, you know, it was one of those. It's like I was getting paid too much. They started paying me and Vinny in the beginning, you know.
Right.
And
And on that point as well, yous had a lot of outdoor dining space too, right? Did you have that
we
before
didn't.
or after?
We got it the first year.
Okay.
But it wasn't the tent. It was just around the
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, running by the tent situation in Scarsdale, they do like a communal tent, right?
No, it's just Jackie B's, man.
Oh, just
They
you
get their
guys?
own.
Yeah.
Oh, good for you.
The
So-
communal tent's a different tent.
It's that parking lot in the back, and they put a humongous. Just Scott bought this like $10,000 tent. It's huge, fucking like an airport hanger. It looks like. So that happened during COVID. So when COVID hit, you know, I was doing the books and I was doing Jackie B's, and that was it. And I was always bartending at Jackie B's, so I was making money with that. You know, it was good. The bartending money at Jackie B's was actually really good.
Nice.
Not like brazen or whatever, but you're working less and You're still making good money. So it was okay. I was like, all right, this is cool. So COVID hit, and I remember Scott wanted to stay open. I was like, all right, cool.
Just he was gonna be like, fuck
Open,
everybody.
no, open like for takeout.
Ah, okay. Right. I thought you were gonna say fuck everybody. We're staying open.
Yeah.
I was like, nice.
I would have done that.
In
but-
hindsight, that's what you do, right?
Yeah, I would have done that. I was always okay with that, you know.
But
So-
you'd still be dealing with lawsuits. Like, Phil, before we sat down, you said you're going to get into the nitty gritty about COVID. And I think we definitely should, absolutely, so people can understand how it was for a restaurant owner's point of view. But looking back, if you had to stay open, you'd be dealing with like this much lawsuits. Like
100%.
lost from everybody, from
Yeah,
the
you would.
state,
You'd
from
have,
the
to,
government.
you'd have the sheriff here shutting you down.
Yeah, the sheriff, exactly.
You'd be lucky
Yeah.
if they didn't send the national
Yeah.
security.
You would be
or
good
whatever.
here, kind of, if no one came in because you have the blacked out everything. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
If.
Even we dealt with it too during COVID. We had people, you know, the cops coming in, counting how many. Oh, you've got 28 in here.
I can't believe the cops would do that.
It's crazy. It's
That's-
like your job is now to count how many people are in a restaurant. Like, you know,
fucked up.
when it's under occupied, whatever. Like, you know,
Yeah.
they got told to do what they got told to do.
Yeah.
It's just their job.
So when COVID hit, I wound up. It sucked because I couldn't get the unemployment because now
You're a business
I'm
owner.
still working.
Yeah.
So
Oh, wow, all right.
I kind of wish I was just a bartender during COVID because then I'd be able to take the unemployment and go traveling for fucking 3 months.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. So now I'm stuck home. I have to work 2 days. We did a thing where all the bartenders would work 2 days a week next to each other. So like Monday, Tuesday would be me, Wednesday, Thursday would be Maria. And then it would just be one person inside taking the to-go orders. And actually the tips were great. People
Yeah.
were tipping like crazy back then.
Good.
Of course.
So
they were
that
just happy to get
yeah.
to-go food.
So whatever, you work 2 days a week, but I'm just making that now. No unemployment. Everyone else is making 1,000-week unemployment. I'm like, fuck, man, this sucks.
Yeah.
So whatever.
That does suck.
Yeah.
How does it make sense if you're going to be
I know.
working your ass off and you're making nothing, and then people are sitting home making
Oh,
way more?
Jerking off, making fucking $1,000 a week.
Man,
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
not
make,
cool.
I didn't get unemployment because
not
I'm
cool.
not legally able to collect unemployment
go.
in America. You know, because of my status, I wasn't able to do that, and I was walking dogs. But I had a good time walking dogs.
Walking dogs is
I got
good.
out into the forest every day with a load of dogs.
Yeah,
so, you know.
that's good.
But it wasn't great bread. You know,
No.
didn't help like pay the bills. Like
Yeah,
$1,000 a week pays the bills.
Yeah. So COVID hit. Actually, the lockdown for me was all right because you know I'm doing we did the 2 days a week. It was only takeout at the time, and I remember I was just home. Like I play video games, so I'm like, all right, I'll play video games all day. Go to work sometimes, whatever. And then when we reopened, it was like phase 2. Remember phase 2?
Yeah.
Remember
It
McLean
was
Avenue?
coming in phases.
Remember McLean Avenue during phase 2?
Just went
It was
nuts.
like New Orleans.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
People were just like, phase 2.
Everyone was outside, and you can go from bar to bar, getting to-go drinks outside. It was like the greatest thing ever. I remember coming home from work. I was like, oh my God, McLean. I used to live in Katona. at the
All the
time.
Irish people just waiting.
I was like, holy shit,
Brilliant.
McLean is nuts. This is crazy. So,
you gotta love it, right?
yeah, when
Irish
phase 2
spirit.
happened at Jackie B's, it was real tough because now what happened to me, it was really bad. So the kitchen staff all left one day. All of them quit.
Why?
They just like walked out on you.
They just all left because we had the tent. We got the tent. The tent was crazy busy. It was way too much for the kitchen to handle.
Right.
They could never get the food out on time. It was like real slow. It would take like 2 hours for someone to get their fucking entrees.
Fuck.
Real nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, you're not going to do that.
No,
That's
I
not going to
know.
work.
So
obviously.
it was real hard for me, like
Plus,
stressful.
you're dealing with the people.
Yeah. Plus, the kitchen was stressful too. I knew it. I told Scott, I was like, this tent's no good, man. You're gonna lose customers. You're gonna lose employees.
Yeah.
So they leave. Luckily, that same day that they were leaving, I already had someone. I go to his house, this chef guy, go to his house, pick him up. I'm like, yo, let's go. I didn't know they left yet. They were still working. I get him, bring him to Jackie B's. I come there, there's only one guy in the kitchen. I'm like, what happened to the other guys? It was Jesus. He goes, they didn't come in. So I'm like, yo, to the guy, I was like, you want to work? So he fucking, right away, he saved the place.
Yeah.
The
You're
second
lucky.
they left, this guy came in and he knew what he was doing. Able to do the whole menu.
Yeah.
He was so good.
Wow.
You're lucky.
And he brought his friend.
You brought his. They always have a friend.
Yeah, he brought his friend, Liberato.
Liberato.
Yeah.
That's a great name.
Yeah, Liberato's great. He liberated me. So they both fucking saved the place, saved me from my hardships. It was tough. And then they became huge assholes.
Yeah.
Oh, they were like, oh, they're the greatest thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
You know, like they didn't have any respect for me at all. Meanwhile, I'm like the nicest owner, manager you could ever meet. I'm always like never yelling at anyone. so like, I'm a normal cool dude. I'm such a cool guy.
And humble. And humble.
And you're calm.
I'm very calm. And this guy like had it out for me. I'm like, yo, what did I do to you, man? Like, you're a scumbag. He was just a scumbag.
And it just happened over time. He just flipped the whole script.
Couple weeks, changed. Yeah. Meanwhile, we were friends in the beginning, and then all of a sudden, he flipped the switch on me. So I was like, all right, whatever.
You've dealt with that in the past, Rob, where people just get like crazy egos working in the kitchen?
I mean, that only happens in a situation. And your situation was perfect for him to grow an ego. He came
Yeah,
in,
because he
and
like
you
ran the place right away.
really needed him.
Yeah.
So he used that as leverage to be
that's
a
what
dick.
happened. Without
That's
him,
what
I'm dead.
happens. Yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, without this guy, I'm dead. So I want to fire him so bad, but I can't. So I'm trying to look for new people. I'm like, the second I get someone, this guy's out.
Yeah.
No one wants to work at this point.
Meanwhile, what happened?
No one wants to work with $1,000 a week unemployment.
Exactly. I couldn't find any workers. It was so hard. It was insane. I started cooking.
Good man.
I'm cooking in the fucking
Mick
kitchen.
Gasparino in the kitchen.
Like, this is my first time I ever cooked in my life. And I was actually doing pretty good. I would do the fryer section. No problem. I'm like, how is this so hard for these guys? They're idiots.
I started in the kitchen for a while. I was doing a lot of shifts in the kitchen. I enjoyed the kitchen work.
I liked it too. You don't have to talk to anybody.
That's one
You got the
thing.
tickets coming out.
Yeah.
Whatever. You're good.
Then you go back onto the bar and you're like, oh no, I got to talk to him.
Yeah. Like, I made that
And,
sandwich.
and when you're in the kitchen and you get busy, you can be like, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
Fuck this.
That's exactly what I do.
You're
Yeah.
behind the bar, you're like, yes, sir.
Yeah. You can start screaming, whatever. So that was tough. And Jackie B's was just way too much. It was all nonsense. Nothing. It was so sloppy. You had no idea how much money the place made. There was no accounting. Kitchen was fucking shot. The only thing that was good was the front of the house because of me. I kept it good. So me and the owner, the partner, my partner Scott there, we just like kind of butted heads. He had the place going one way. I just wanted it to be a fucking neighborhood bar. That's what I had imagined for the place.
What was his vision?
He wanted the biggest place ever. Like he's one of those guys. We were just talking before. Rich guy who wants to own a restaurant to say they own a restaurant.
Most restaurants, I think, or not most, but a lot of restaurants are invested in or owned by someone who has enough money but has never dealt with this business, and they want to be in it solely just so they can bring friends to a
brag
place
about
and say,
it. I own this place, right?
Yeah.
So it came to the point where I was like, listen, Scott, I'm 34 years old. I don't have a family yet. I need to make money. Like, I'm not in here just to like give things away and fucking, I'm here to make money. So we just kind of butted heads about it. I was like, look, make me a deal. I'm out of here.
Yeah.
So he made me a deal. I left. I don't know how it's going now for them, but I got bought out of the place. I built that place really good. I think it's doing good now, but it was definitely my baby.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Of course. It's your first restaurant.
So I was
that you
kind
own
of
by
sad
yourself.
leaving
Of course.
because all the customers love me and everything.
It really does feel like a baby.
Like, I took all the customers from the Garth Road Inn. The Garth Road Inn was near there. When they came in to see me, like
They came back.
they knew because like I was from McLean Avenue. They were all Irish.
Oh, nice.
So I
they
gave
love
them
that.
like my Irish shit, and they loved it. I was like, oh, this guy's good. So they started coming there instead, and then the Garth Road Inn closed.
Right.
They went out of
So,
business.
so now you got double.
So I
the
had
amount.
those guys, and then I wound up leaving. So I was like, whatever.
But you know what? It was for the right reasons because now
Yeah.
you're down at Growlers.
So, yeah. Well, before I left Jackie B's, I opened Growlers. So for half a year, I had two places at once, and that was really tough.
Yeah, I bet.
Going to Restaurant Depot for both places, ordering for both places, trying to remember what goes where. I always have the notepad for which place. So you're going to be doing that too soon.
100%.
The
Not
notepad.
easy.
The notepad's a game changer.
Yeah.
If you don't write something down, you're forgetting it. That's it.
So it was supposed to be me, Scott, and George opening Growlers. So George is a customer from Brazen. He would come in every day, drink one palm, talk to us for a bit, and leave.
Yeah.
He was
Palm
an old
George.
guy, about 72 years old, and he was a president of Coach Bus USA, which is a big bus company. So the guy made a fortune. Right?
He was always a gentleman.
Yeah. Oh, great dude. Best dude. So he retired, and it was going to be me and Scott opening Growlers. We were interested in it. I talked to George. I was like, George, you want to open a bar? I know you always wanted to open a bar. You want to open Growlers with me? He said, yeah. He's like, I got nothing to do now. I'm ready. So I was like, awesome. So I'm like, this is great because George is fucking great. Great businessman. I'm like, I know this is going to be good now. So at least I got George because Scott was kind of like all over the place.
Yeah.
I knew how Jackie B's was going. I'm like, I don't want that to go here.
Right.
You know? So I was like, I get George. He knows all the accounting, all the shit.
You got to have someone who's really straight.
You need that.
You know.
And he'll never fuck me over. I know that for sure. You know? So brought him in. Now it was me, George, and Scott. So last minute, Scott backs out. Scott from Jackie B's backed out.
Fucking Scott.
Yeah.
Backing out.
Last minute, like the week before we were supposed to sign the place. So I'm like, fuck, what am I going to do? So I had Eugene from Brazen. He was actually supposed to come in with us to be like a part owner and run the place. So I was like, so I would be able to do both places. You know what I mean?
Of course.
So I told Eugene last second he wasn't going to put any money in because we didn't need him to, because Scott, me, and George were going to put the money in. So I told Eugene at last second, I was like, yo, Scott backed out. Do you have 40 grand and become a 33% partner with us instead? Eugene was already on the fence with coming into the place because he didn't really want to leave his great bartending jobs, which he has, and I totally understood. So he said no. So like, all right, no problem.
Also, like later on, you have more responsibility, so risk becomes more risky.
Yeah,
essentially.
Exactly.
You can't.
Now you're putting 40 grand in. You don't know if the place is going to be good or not. I have this job that's great.
Yeah.
What's
You don't
the
know
point?
if you're going to make money. You don't know if you're making
So
money.
I totally understood Eugene. I was like, all right, no problem.
And also, if anything bad happens outside the business, like God forbid something bad happens at home, you're like, he has a nice nest egg sitting there ready to be able to take care of anything that could happen.
Yeah.
You don't have the leeway to put it up front for,
And he had a
again,
kid.
risk.
He has
That's
a
what I'm
kid
saying.
too.
Yeah, exactly. Like again, touch wood.
Yeah.
Anything happened, let's say, who knows? You don't have that leeway essentially. Yeah.
So what I did was I texted Davey. Davey's one of my best friends. He worked in Brazen with us. Big, tall, redhead Davey. Everyone knows him.
Big Red.
Yeah, Big Red. So I texted him. I was like, Davey, look, I got this bar, Growlers in Tuckahoe. It's me and George. He knows George.
Yeah.
So the second he heard George, he said, all right, I'm in.
Nice.
So he knew like how great George is. So got him. Well, we were in contract with these guys for like months. This is right before COVID.
Negotiating?
Yeah, negotiating. These guys were big scumbags. First of all, they had no idea how to run a restaurant. Growlers was a great spot until these guys bought it. They brought it down big time, fucked it all up, right? So it was actually a good thing that they fucked it all up
Yeah.
for
It
us.
gave you to show what you can do.
Yeah, and the place was cheap because
Right.
of it. So they were in huge debt, like 150 grand debt with the place.
Wow.
George is like crunching the numbers. He's like, I think we can make money here if we get a good deal. So we were in contract with them. The contract said they have to stay open to the best of their ability, no matter what. Then COVID hit. With COVID, you were allowed to stay open as long as you did takeout.
Yeah.
They breached contract by closing. They closed during COVID. Okay?
Right.
So we had leverage on the deal now.
Right.
It was supposed to be like whatever. Let's say, for example, it was 200 grand to buy the place. Now we said, okay, we're going to give you 80.
And we're going to give you the option to get out and stop losing money.
Exactly.
100%.
We'll pay all your debts. You get out. That's it. They were real pissed about it. But every time they would try to scheme us a little bit, George would go through the contract, read everything. He was our lawyer, our accountant, everything. We didn't need to pay a lawyer or an accountant because of George. Read the contract, find one little thing that was wrong, send it back to them. This is no good. So we got a great deal because
You need a guy like that.
Oh, he's the best. So we wound up getting a great deal. Bought the whole place cheap. And it was perfect timing because COVID was closed and we needed to fix the place up. So, all right, we'll stay closed 3-4 weeks, fix the place up, open up. Me and Davey basically did everything ourselves.
I remember you guys doing this.
We redid the bar. We cleaned the whole place. It was a disaster. We had my boy Alir do the American flag wall.
Looks great.
Awesome wall.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was cool. And we just refinished everything. We basically didn't do much. We painted, refinished everything, fixed everything up a little bit.
Put your touch on it.
Yeah, that was it. And we opened up. And honestly, Growlers is a great spot.
Yeah, man. It's in a great location,
Yeah.
right there by the train station. It's in a great neighborhood. Tuckahoe's nice people.
And the best thing about Growlers is you honestly don't need to do much business to make money. So you can kind of it's kind of easy for me.
Yeah.
So it's great for me because I can do my other stuff that I do. Plus own a restaurant. Most people can only own a restaurant if they own a restaurant.
100%.
I can do so many other things still. And Growlers kind of runs itself.
And you've got Davey.
And I have Davey.
And Davey's a great partner, man.
Yeah.
Like,
So, Davey's a fireman. So,
got-
when he's working at the firehouse, I got to be there. But if he's not there, he can work too. So I can take off. It's great. So I bartend like 3 days a week there.
How is it? Right. So me and James are in a very similar situation to you and Davey. Right. We were friends before we were business partners.
Yeah.
Right. It's a strange thing when you get into business with someone.
It is,
Because
actually.
now it's like, right, I know we're friends, but business is business.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to like James has to tell me, man, this is not what we're gonna do. We can't do this. Like, you know, you can't name this drink that. That's crazy out. Like Jimmy B throws out loads of my drink names, and sometimes I'm like, yo, this guy's throwing out my drink names, but I know for the sakes of the business that sometimes it has to be done.
Crazy, man.
I know.
Right?
Yeah. Like, if you've seen some of the drafts for the new menu, so listen, I love the quirky names. I do. I love the sexual names because people read them and they're like, oh, purple panties, ha ha ha. But then some of them are like hardcore pornography names.
Yeah,
I know.
Like,
we threw out
what
one that
the
was
fuck?
cum and choke.
Yeah, KUM and choke.
But
I was like,
I will
really?
say,
What?
you
the
guys
fuck?
help people get laid here, man.
Yeah, well,
That's what it is.
it brings-
While
it
you're
brings-
reading the menu, it brings out the
it brings
banter.
It
You know
does.
what I mean?
It's,
man,
it
so we
sets
have
it in
one
that
cocktail
tone.
right now called Return of the Tip. It's amazing, right? It's rosemary bourbon.
That's a perfect example. You
Right.
hear the name and you just start chuckling.
Right.
Imagine you're at a table with your girl or a couple's date and she's like, "Oh,
let-
return
let
of the
me-
tip."
let
You're
me
like,
tell you
"Huh,
how it goes
definitely
through,
getting laid later."
So we got Return of the Tip. It's rosemary bourbon. It's a stone fruit cordial, which has some citric acid in it, reduced plums, peaches, and black cherries. Then a little bit of citrus, and then a beetroot shrub, which is essentially a vinegar made with beetroot. Last night, some dude's like to me, oh, what should I get? And he's on a first date, and he tells me. And I'm like, you get a one-night stand and a Return of the Tip, right? And I'm sitting over here, and he's like, yeah. And then I walk over, and he's like, the girl's like, this is the best drink I've ever had. I'm like, yeah, the tip's full of flavor.
Wait till you get the real tip.
The tip's full of flavor. And then I walk over, and I'm
The
like,
tip doesn't have to be that good then.
I walk over to someone else. I'm like, so how do you like the tip? But at the same time, it's like you're creating atmosphere. It's, you know, and we're kind of known for it, but we do need two people to navigate because if we went all my way, it would be ridiculous. And if we went all James's way, maybe it wouldn't be ridiculous enough. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it wouldn't be,
you
it
guys are
wouldn't
opposite like that.
be. Yeah, it
but
wouldn't be.
then you and Davey are very similar in that way also.
Yeah, true. Yeah, well, me and Davey, we butt heads a lot, you know. I remember when I was doing Jackie B's and Growlers, he'd be always like, he busted my ass for not working enough. I'm like, not working enough. I'm working 100 hours a week.
Can't work anymore.
Like, it's impossible. But I understand from him, I wasn't there as much.
Yeah.
You know?
We actually had a similar thing. I remember for a little while, I was working at our other partner's place down in Inwood, right, which is far away, and I don't have transport to get there. So when I get there, I'm there. There's no public transport to get back. I have to wait to get brought back by whoever's giving me a ride. And at a certain point then, I remember thinking the same thing. I'm like, I know I'm trying to do this for the right reason because I'm helping our other partner out, but I'm also leaving James short-handed.
Yeah.
But I'm not working. I'm working.
know.
I'm actually working more.
It's not like you're
right?
not working.
I was doing more
You're still
shifts than
working.
James was, but I was also leaving him short-handed
Yeah.
sometimes.
Over here.
And then that's the balance that you have to find.
catch
But you have
22.
to be able to deal with certain, like, there has to be someone who you know that, okay, we can deal with each other. You know?
definitely.
Which you got with Davey. And
Yeah,
you
it's
know
good.
he's a hard worker.
Yeah. Yeah, we do good there, you know. I like it. We do the Oktoberfest every year. We just had it last week, 2
You
weeks
crushed
ago.
it, no?
Yeah, it's crazy, man. It's fucking, we have the whole parking lot ourselves. It's not like, you know, here you got every other bar with you. It's
Yeah.
just Growlers
Great.
and thousands of people.
That might be one of the biggest and hardest transition for us as like starting off as employees. Like as you start to grow, you realize you have to split your time strategically amongst places. You can't be in one location working 60, 80 hours a week. You can't. It just doesn't
No.
work.
There
Like what
has
about
to be
these
a
other
system.
two? You know, if you have other priorities, you have to be able to delegate in each
And none
area.
of us have a family yet. That's
know.
something to think
Imagine.
about too.
Yeah.
When I look
And
at
my girl
Declan-
always breaks my balls for working too much. Like, you're not
Yeah.
with me enough. I'm like, I'm working.
Man,
Yeah.
I went out. We're
And you
looking-
guys were
you gotta-
talking
you
about
gotta
this
do
on one of the
Sylvia.
episodes.
We're looking for a chef. We're looking for a chef the other day. Me and Rob, we have to go out and we're like talking to different people who are potential chefs from like high-end restaurants. We have to go out to the city. We have to bring them out. You have to sit down with them, have something to eat with them, have a drink with them. I'm not drinking. Like, we actually, none of us drank, but you know, you have to have that sit down, right? And it is business. And then I'm getting a hard time. I'm like, do you think that like this was what exactly I wanted to do?
Yeah.
Of course, I'd rather be
it's fun
surfing.
for me.
Listen, it's 11 o'clock at night. We're both like beat. We just worked the whole day, and we're sitting here trying, still working and enjoying ourselves at the same time, but it's still work.
Like, I consider this work right now.
Of course.
Like, Maria's like, I'm like, I got to go work tomorrow at the podcast, fucking 9 a.m. She's like, work?
But
It's
the
fun.
reality
I'm like,
is-
well, it might be fun, but it's not like my whole goal is to get up and do a podcast.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
of
yeah,
course
yeah.
not. It's the same thing. It's like,
So you guys asked me to come on. I'm helping you out. You know.
yeah,
Thank
exactly.
you.
And
Thank
we appreciate it,
Yeah.
man, for giving us your time. You're a busy guy.
But I consider it work.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm working all day now.
Yeah.
I gotta coach. I gotta do my dogs after this, which we'll get into in a second. But
Let's get into it now.
So yeah. So when I sold Jackie B's, and I just had Growlers and the books, and probably my football and gambling and my fucking stocks. I do stocks sometimes, but that's it. I just had the Growlers and the books. I was kind of like bored for a while. I'm like playing too many video games now. You know, like I didn't like take more shifts from people at Growlers. I didn't want to do that.
Yeah, you don't want to give.
Yeah. So I kind of like did my same thing at Growlers, did my same thing with the books, and just fucked off at home for the rest of the time, hanging out with my girl or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'm bored.
Procrastinating.
So, yeah. So one day, I'm trying. I was looking up. I tried so many schemes. I was looking up like stay-at-home jobs. I was gonna get. I planned in my head. I'll get 10 stay-at-home jobs. I'll source them out to an Indian person, $4 an hour, and I'll just make my 18 an hour on each job. Pay them $4 an hour for each job.
Entrepreneurship mind
Yo,
doesn't stop.
I was trying to do that. I applied for like thousands of jobs. I never got one. I was like, how do I get a job? I'm like, man, I better not fucking stop
a
being an
job.
entrepreneur because I'll be fucked. So can't even get a fucking easy job.
Right?
So
What would some of these jobs be?
like all like input, like
Data
computer
input.
data input jobs. I would say, okay, if I could teach someone else to do this, it'd be easy.
In India, I think they all know how to do
Yeah,
that
yeah,
input.
yeah. So I
If
was
anybody used Google Sheets ever, it's simple. You just
Yeah.
like click input, click input. It's easy.
So I got no job, but
Yeah.
whatever. One
That's
day,
crazy.
I go to Fagan's with a couple of my boys in Montclair Avenue, and one of my boys is there, and he owns a dog walking business, dog boarding business, dog walking business. He's great with dogs; they love him. He's had it for many years. And I'm talking to him. I'm like, Colin, how's the dog walking business going? He's like, I'm too busy. I can't do it. I'm like, look, I'm free if you ever need help. Like, I don't have Jackie B's anymore. I'll try something new. I'm always a try something new guy.
100%.
So one day he calls me shortly after. He's like, Phil, you want to do this? I'm like, yeah, let's meet up. So he comes, talks to me. He just basically picks me up in the morning. We go walk dogs together and just talk about the business. And he brings me around walking the dogs. So all right, this is awesome. Like, this is great.
So,
I loved it.
man, like I said, during COVID, our friend John, he has a dog walking business called Zen Dogs, right? So he reached out to me because he knew I wasn't working, I wasn't making any money, and he was like, you want to walk dogs for me? And I was like, yeah. So I started walking dogs. Exact same, he'd pick me up.
Yeah.
He'd get like, instead of 5 dogs, he'd get 10 dogs.
Yeah.
I'd have 5 dogs, he'd have 5 dogs, and we'd run them in a trail or
Yeah.
wherever we go, right?
Uh-huh.
And I didn't realize how people who love their animals are willing to pay to have their dogs walked 100%, especially in Westchester.
I've done the math, man. One customer pays Colin 27 grand a year to walk the dog.
It's
Right?
a very big
Wow.
market. because
3 per
people
day every
love
day.
their animals.
People
3
love-
dogs a day.
No,
Yeah.
3 walks per day.
So he goes to the same
Morning,
person.
afternoon, night.
They walk the same dog 3 times a day.
Actually, the person that that dog has a podcast. His name's Pat McEnroe. You remember McEnroe, the tennis player?
Yeah.
His brother, he's also a tennis player, but he has a podcast about tennis. And his dog is Pepper, who we walk 3 times a day.
But this is the thing, right?
Wow.
If you have a dog, it needs to be
Bronxville.
walked.
These Bronxville people, man.
Right? It needs to be walked. And if you're elderly, say, you're wealthy and you're elderly. The dog is probably your best friend, right? You haven't got any more the energy to walk this dog, or maybe it's like, it's raining, you don't want to do it. Whatever
Yeah,
the case
rain.
is.
The dogs hate the rain themselves.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
do.
they
They
do.
don't want to go.
They're just like, walk. Like,
But at the end of the day, right, our business partner, he walks this dog 3 times a day. He gets up, he was in the hospital. First thing he said when he woke up to me was like, what about the dog? I was like, don't worry, I've been walking the dog.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
The people, they care about their dogs more than anything. So if you are financially stable and you have a dog and maybe you can't walk it as much as needs be, you'll definitely pay to have it done.
Yeah.
So I was getting paid to do it, and it's fun.
oh, it's great.
And I like walking dogs.
You're out there in the
I
day.
like being
it's-
outdoors.
It's nice.
Yeah.
You got to deal with no people.
Yeah,
Usually
yeah.
you go to the house when no one's there. You
pick
got
up
the
the
key,
dog.
you pick up the dog, you go, come back, drop the dog off. Boom.
But when I started doing, I actually said it to James. I'm pretty sure I was saying it to you. I was like, we should start a dog walking business.
It's actually
I didn't want
class.
to. I didn't want to.
No overhead.
Yeah, I didn't.
No
wanna
overhead is
step-
huge.
That's
0.
Yeah, don't have to do with the,
Man, you just need a couple leads.
any
and there's a car.
governments. Don't have to do with
Gasoline
nothing.
in your car.
Yeah.
And your own time.
I didn't
Wow.
want to step on our friends' toes because he's making his livelihood through it, and like he has a family and kids to support. But I wanted to get in on the business immediately. You know, I just didn't want to go walking dogs for this guy who's helped me out and then be like, oh, I'm starting a dog walking business.
So the main problem with the dog walking business is hiring dog walkers.
Who lose dogs.
Once you hire a dog walker, they start walking the same dog over and over, go to the owner and say, I'll walk your dog for less.
Yeah.
That's what happens every time.
It makes sense.
Yeah.
Of course. And the other thing about it is also, if you lose a dog, you're done.
Oh my God,
That's
that
it.
almost happened to me once, man.
If I did a dog walking business, then I would just do a contract where you have to give me notice to break.
There's something like that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of something so his name is Colin Costello and his business is called The Pet Connection. So my job is basically to find trustworthy dog walkers to replace him and me.
Yeah. Or have the employee sign a contract when he gets hired to be like that's
Yeah.
inside his employment application.
And
He
he's
cannot
got
the dog
right
Yeah.
now
from
he
the
needs
company.
people for it.
And you have
Yes.
to work with them for like.
It just goes to show that business is booming, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? It's such a great job.
Yeah.
And these people like come, they quit. I'm like, this is like the easiest job in the world. You go to a person's house, pick up a dog, and you have a wonderful dog to play with. These dogs are all trained great.
A wonderful
Yeah.
dog.
Yeah, they're all wonderful.
Yeah, but it's the truth. It's like it's not like you're picking up a pit bull down in like the Brooklyn.
No, these dogs are fucking the best.
I was
They do
picking
everything
up
you
show
said.
dogs.
Yeah.
Like the nicest coat on a dog I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I'm like picking up 2 poodles and I'm like, I feel great right now. Right? Look at me.
So yeah, I'm doing that now. I'm doing the dog walking. I'm doing Growlers. I'm doing the books, and I'm doing now. I got the Trust the System podcast, and
the trust the system's cool.
right now we're on fire, bro. We killed
Right?
it last
Yeah,
week.
good. Walk us through the Trust the System podcast for those who don't.
All
know.
right, so I started gambling when I was like 16. I was really bad for like 11, 12 years. Lost tons of money. I'll just do the quick one here. So one day I just said, look, I can't stop gambling. I'm addicted to it. Why don't I just do the opposite of what I think?
Yeah.
And it evolved from there, but I started doing good since then. And now I do really good.
You know what's funny, Phil, right? So last time, man, me and Phil are great friends. Honestly, out of everybody in America, I have a group of maybe like 6 people who I consider great friends to me, and you're one of them, right? And funny enough, we're all kind of friends.
Yeah.
Right? So I meet up with these guys. Maybe we get out maybe twice a year.
Yeah,
most
not
kind of
much, man.
thing.
We can't hang out
But
anymore.
when we hang out,
It's fun.
It's very fun.
Yeah.
So I'm hanging out with Phil one time. We go to a bunch of places. We end up outside Rory Dolan's. We're with Sparno. We're with Davey.
In the car.
Yeah, we're in the car. We're having a great time. Or maybe it was Sean? We're with Sean.
It was Sean.
We're with Sean.
Yeah, not Sparno.
Right. So we were trying to get Sparno out. He wouldn't come.
Yeah.
Right. So we're there, and man, we're in Phil's car. He nearly got me to start gambling. Right. And I've never gambled, but I believed him so much in what he said. He looked at me and he was dead serious. And he's like, don't ever gamble. But if you're going to gamble, do what I do.
Yeah.
And I came back and I said it to you the next day, and I was like, it really hit home to me when you said it. And I was like, I didn't want to start gambling, but I wanted to start gambling. I'm not even a little bit addicted to gambling. I don't like it at all. But I believed you so vividly because I know what you're saying is something that makes sense to me.
That's honestly what I tell people. I say, don't gamble unless you do what I do.
What is it that you do?
I figured out this system. Like, it's kind of, it's like opposite of what you think. Like, I'm such a bad gambler deep down that I know which picks to do the opposite of. Like, most people, they think, oh, this is a lock. This is a lock. You got 5 guys in the room saying this is a lock. You got to do the opposite of those people because they're never going to win.
Never.
You know, Vegas always wins. So if you could figure out what the great opposite picks are, you're going to be on Vegas' side more than half the time.
But there's an underlying agenda to it also, right? Because you will have ESPN and the papers and the radio, and they're all telling you like, you know, Eli hasn't lost a game at home in 10 games.
Yeah.
And then they keep saying it to you, and then people are coming to you and they're saying, oh, you know, there's no way they're going to lose. Eli hasn't lost a game in 10 games.
That's when you go the opposite. Things like that.
right.
Okay.
And Vegas never loses.
There's a psychology behind gambling, just like there's a psychology behind anything in life. Stock market's the same way.
That's my
It's the
next
same
step.
thing.
Now,
Opposite of what you think.
Opposite of what do you think? So like you're trading options, I assume,
Yeah.
because that's technically what they like to say. You're gambling.
Yeah.
What's your play right now? What do you have a play on right now?
Like I would go.
Do you have an option open right now?
No, I haven't traded in a while. I've been too busy. You got to look. I'm doing the dog walking in the daytime, so you got to be like free in the daytime to do stocks. I can't really do it right now, but I'm not that good at it. But if you just do the opposite of what you think with options, it's better off.
Because they have without you knowing, they've gotten into your psyche. And the reason you're thinking that way is because they've put it out there for you to think
So
that
for
way.
me, with options, I trade options. I think my strategy is emotion. You cannot be emotionally stirred by what you see going on with those numbers.
So the stock market and gambling the same exact way. You buy when no one else wants to buy. You sell when no one else wants to sell. Same thing with football gambling. You buy that team when everyone else is against them, and you sell that team when everyone else is with them.
Right.
That's my theory.
And honestly, it makes sense, though, because, right, if you were as big as Vegas or any now that gambling's legal, right, and you have X amount of online sources to gamble in, right, these people are all winning. Like you said, Vegas never loses. Now, they obviously lose, but they win more than they lose.
Of course, you got to
like
give
what,
the people
60,
some
40
wins.
Yeah, of course.
That's
'Cause
the whole thing.
Like, you know, the poker joker machines, they're notorious around Woodlawn, right?
Yeah.
Around any Irish neighborhoods, they got a poker joker. They're set to pay out X amount of time.
You see someone hit that jackpot, now you're like, oh man,
Yeah.
it's
That
time
could
to play.
be me. That
Yeah.
could be me.
But the thing about it actually is, it is a system. It's for sure a system. And
It works.
it's got to work for someone because they're not losing money in Vegas.
There's some people that win gambling. That's the best thing about gambling. You tell someone you're gambling, they automatically assume you're a loser.
Yeah.
That's what I love the most about it. So I'm like, there's some people that win. You got to be someone that wins. I was always thinking about it. There's got to be a small percentage of people that win gambling. It's impossible
I
for
think
there
it
not
all
to be.
lies behind emotion.
Emotion's
just
usually.
staying smart and not going
Yeah.
right off the jump of what
Man,
you feel.
and here's the thing to touch on that, right? I've worked in Brazen Fox, sat beside someone like Sparno, and it's like, right, he's down. I can tell he's down.
Yeah,
I don't
just by
gamble.
looking at his
I'm
face.
looking at him. I'm like, all right, this guy's gambling and he's down and he can't take his eyes off the TV.
Yeah.
Now he's on his phone. He's trying to win by gambling on tennis in Australia
Yeah.
at 3 a.m.
Oh, God.
that he doesn't know anything about.
Yeah.
And that's when they got you.
Yeah. He's
trying to
now
get
they've
back
got
to
you.
even, right?
Because now you're on
Now with
Google. You're looking up stuff on Google to see like, oh, what's going on with this tennis player.
Yeah.
They're pushing the narrative that is adjusting the line towards their favor.
So yeah, that's basically it with the trusted system. Simple with that. It's the simplest thing. Everyone thinks like, man, how do you have those time to like study all this stuff with football? I'm like, I just look at it for 3 seconds. I just think of what I would like and do the opposite.
Have you
Meanwhile-
created your own forum?
No, I got the podcast. So
I mean, you should create your own forum and like maybe people.
Yeah, I was thinking
as
about
you
that.
bet, like people will actually join your forum.
I got to figure out how to monetize it.
Because like I do like when I do stocks, I follow some people because like sometimes they're actually saying
Yeah.
the right things. You know, like 9 out of 10 if they're
Well,
right,
if you
I'm
want the
like,
best
okay,
person
now
to
I
follow
this
on
guy.
Twitter, his name is David Fitzpatrick. Best person. You got to pay $100 a month though,
There you go. You
but
see?
he's good.
You had to pay $100 a month to follow him on Twitter.
He's the real deal.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
most people make more than 100 a month off of his advice. And his,
Big time.
Of course.
You know,
He's the best. There's nobody better.
Does that never make you wonder that, like, okay, if this guy's selling advice for $100 a month, he's probably making most of his money by selling advice. He's
No,
not
he
actually
shows
trading.
his trades. He's really good.
people that
guy's
say
good.
they trade, if they don't show you their personal portfolio, you know they're full of
This guy's
crap.
good. He shows his bad
You
trades.
know?
He shows his good trades. Like me, I show my losers. I show my winners with football.
Yeah.
I'm all, totally honest.
You have
know?
to be.
You get-
If you're not honest with yourself, you're losing.
Because people notice that. Actually, one of the first weeks I started the trusted system, and I kept showing my losers. I'm like, look, we lose too, and people message me in there like, I appreciate the honesty.
Yeah.
You got to be honest.
Yeah. So
Like right now, I'm down in the stock market. I'm just hanging out, chilling, and the next day I could be totally up. That's how it is.
Yeah.
It's
Man,
great,
you know, funny. I've never done stocks. I've never done gambling. I stay away from it right now for the simple reason is like I'm an addict, right? And I don't trust myself to do something that I know I'll get addicted to and be able to control it.
Yeah.
Right? I'm real bad with anything. Anyone knows me, I don't drink. I have to cut out any substance because I'll get stuck on it straight. But you nearly got me last time when you said that. I was stuck in my head and I was like, and then I just thought of myself and I was like, I won't be able to stop.
Yeah.
I won't be able to stop.
yeah, you can't because I take that break after football season ends for 6 months until it starts again, which is actually tough for me, but I do it now. So I don't want to be an addict, So I only bet during football season. Yeah.
But it's fun.
Oh, I love it. It's the best thing I do. It's the greatest thing.
You don't bet like baseball, nothing else?
During football season, I will.
During football. So,
Yeah.
so basically,
So
your
right
gambling
now we're-
season is
Yeah,
the
during
4-month
football
period or
season.
whatever.
So I'll bet the baseball playoffs now. I'm actually 7-0 on the baseball playoffs right now, and we'll bet the basketball too now. So we're 1-0 on basketball.
I
And,
suppose.
we won 8 bets in a row right now. Last week was huge. Angelo knows, and
Nice. Congrats.
people who are following, they're loving it.
Yeah, man. I'm loving it. I've been following you. Yeah, it's great crack.
So. And it's important. It's probably important just to touch back on what you said before, that the overall goal isn't to win every single bet. It's to look at this end of the season and be like, we won 70% of the time or 60% of the time.
I think with gambling, people get attached to that money that wasn't theirs in the first place.
Yeah, you could spend it easily. Happens to me too. Every football season, I'm out there. I'll be out at the bar. You'll see now. I just came out the other day. I'm never out. During football season, I'm out. I'm fucking.
Yeah.
But sometimes, like, someone will win 10 grand, and then the next bet they'll lose 3 grand, and they'll be upset about it. And it's like, dude, you never had that money to begin with.
The Christmas cheer.
But that's,
that's the football season. Christmas cheer.
Part. That's the whole part about getting back to even. I feel like that's the thing that they always talk about with gamblers. They're like, you're trying to get back to even all the time. It's like, I'm just trying to get back to even. That's the whole.
I actually think that we are gambling, essentially. Myself and Jay, I don't think you gamble, right?
Life's a gamble, baby.
Not really.
You took
I
a
do
gamble?
Have some stock market stuff.
You took a gamble here.
That is a gamble.
I took a gamble, Jackie.
And here's the thing: is like
books gamble.
We are. Life is a gamble, and we are constantly gambling because I'm betting on myself.
You're betting on yourself. 100%.
I'm betting on myself every step of the way.
That's the best bet you can make.
But I know that I enjoy betting on myself because essentially it's still there's money riding on me, right? I know what my plan is. I'm betting against anybody who's betting against that I won't be able to do it, and I keep saying what I'm going to do. It's essentially all a gamble.
I'm very proud of you two guys. 3 with Rob.
Thank you.
I'm very proud of you guys. You guys did a great job here. You're moving on, doing awesome things. It's cool. Like seeing you guys do it. Like you opened a fucking cocktail bar here with no business being any cocktail bar in White Plains, honestly. And I love it. It's awesome. I like seeing you guys do good.
Thank you, man. We're trying our best.
I actually had a question about that.
Right, go on.
Ooh.
So you said one thing on your podcast that you didn't want to compete with Brazen.
Yeah.
You didn't want to just be another sports bar.
No.
So what did you think when they opened on Archie Grand competing with you?
Man, it's no competition. Honestly, it's not. They're not competition with us. They might look at it like they're competition with us. I still only look to Manhattan as anything that's even close to competition to us.
Yeah.
I don't look at Archie Grand as competition with us. I don't mind having the banter with Vinny because it's fun.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's like, right, they have TVs. You're not a cocktail bar. You started up.
That's true.
You started up as an Italian food, like yourself, Vinny. When he started up Archie Grand, it was going to be an Italian spot. It was going to be different to Brazen.
That's true.
He never thought about cocktails. They don't have the infrastructure for it to be a cocktail bar. They don't have the right machines for their ice to do cocktails. I'm not trying to. I love Archie Grand. I think it's a great place, but no one is ever going to go in there and be like, "This is a cocktail bar," right? Because it's not. And it is what it is. They can make great cocktails, and I hope they do, but I don't look at them as competition to us. Their business model isn't the same as ours. They don't have the same effort being put into what we're putting into. They might do it on 1 or 2 things, but here's the thing, right? Vinny owns Archie Grand, and he's never worked in a cocktail bar.
Yes.
Right? And he's never gone to a cocktail bar to learn how to bartend for cocktails. So
yeah, you guys did all that, which
we outsource it. Like
we done
went
a couple
to
of
the best
places.
you went to Dead Rabbit, right?
Yeah. That's it. Can I tell that story real quick? That story's pretty cool. So we went down. I'm actually down in Dead Rabbit. I'm like checking out the place. I'm like, I gotta just like watch. So I'm like watching, and it's like a chemistry sets in front of me. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, you got all those weird little glass things.
Yeah,
you don't know what's going on.
I'm like, okay, I think I know what this is. All this crazy shit. So anyway, I go downstairs and I'm drunk at the time, so I'm smoking a cigarette outside, and 3 guys come down, and one of the guys has a black shirt on, like a dress shirt, like you're dressed for work. All right, but I've seen that there's some creases in it, like it's like brand fresh. He's after buying it. So so they come out, and I obviously started shooting the shit with them or whatever, and they said they own a bar in the Cayman Islands, or maybe it's not the Cayman Islands, but they own a bar anyway. And I said, oh, so what are you doing? You're here visiting? He's like, no, I'm here training. I was like, what do you mean training? He says, I'm here, training the Rabbit. He's like, you're going to leave and go here? He's like, no, I reached out to them, and I told them that I love what they do, and, is there any chance that I could get some training? And I was like, 1 second. And I was like, already I'm sending them an email. I'm like, my name is James. He's like, we're doing this.
Oh, you were the guy?
Straight away. I'm like,
all right.
As soon as it came into my ears, I'm like, it was like a light bulb. It was like an
Were
explosion.
you planning on opening a cocktail bar before that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But those guys were very, very nice, very hospitable, and very, very, very knowledgeable. It's crazy. So they
know how to make a drink out of nothing.
They know how to do it all.
Yeah.
They know how to do it all. But
they
they're
know how to do
huge.
it all.
They're hugely
That's awesome.
helpful.
But,
But we done some training in another couple of places. I'm not going to let that cat out of the bag.
I want to let everybody know they should go drink and actually Grand. It's a great spot. If you're looking for a cocktail bar and you're in Westchester, we are the only cocktail bar in Westchester.
I agree.
And that's for the simple reason every staff member here, besides myself and James, who went to these places to learn, has come up through our program.
Yeah, you guys train really good
Right?
too.
They've started off as our barbacks. They've worked onto the floor. They've worked themselves onto the bar. Really, everyone in our barbacks know more than bartenders in most cocktail bars, and they don't know that they know it. They if you met them and spoke to them, they would think, oh no, like everyone knows more than them. But if you start asking them questions, they'll answer questions for you that you don't know answers to, right? And that, like, realistically, our barbacks can make cold brew coffee liquor. Our barbacks can make any of the classic cocktails. Like, most of our barbacks, it's funny when they end up on the bar because it's like, you're like, oh, I wonder if they're ready. And then they go jump behind the bar and you're like, oh,
10 times ready.
They've been ready. They've been ready.
That's
but yeah,
good.
man, I
That's really
just
cool
want
to
to
see.
say to you, I thank you so much for coming on.
I got a couple things.
All right, go on.
So I had a couple things. I was taking notes yesterday. I was watching all the episodes, and so you guys said what your favorite wings? Mine are drums.
Yours
Yeah,
are drums?
Drums.
You're the only
I'm not
drum
a flats guy.
No, flats are the
I
best.
hate flats.
Why?
Throw them in the
Why?
garbage.
Why?
It's hard to do them. Just drum, boom. It's done. You got to
It's done.
open up the flat.
You could do the same thing with the floor.
No, you got to. It's
No.
2 bones.
If you got skill, if you got some skill, you can take it all one shot.
Yeah.
One shot. I've seen people do it.
You just dip
no.
it in, that's it.
So my caffeine is espresso.
Yeah.
You know that.
Of course, you're Italian.
All right. I had one problem. One of the episodes, you guys said you were talking about how Miami had bad service.
Yeah.
You didn't tell you the reason. The reason for the bad service is because there's tip already on the bill.
Yeah.
You buy a Corona, there's a tip already on that bill. Every
20%.
single bar in Miami has a tip already. They don't have to give you good service.
Well, they do
No.
that because of tourism.
yeah,
Yeah.
They don't, but they don't have to give you good
But
service.
sure, New York
they can
has
just give you a
tourism.
drink and that's it.
Yeah.
know?
And you know what? They're losing. I will say Miami's suffering because of it. Right?
I agree.
As a
Miami
tourist,
sucks.
Miami's suffering
Everybody
because
says
of
that when they go to Miami.
Bro,
like,
Man,
Miami
we just had
sucks.
sex
terrible.
about Miami the other night. I told everybody. I expressed.
You know
how
what
much
we
it
should do,
wasn't for me.
Phil?
Yeah?
We
I
should
like
go
it.
back and open the mainest bar in Miami.
I know we should.
With the mainest crew.
Definitely.
We should do that in a couple of years. Maybe I should.
100%.
I always told you that one place in Miami where the bartenders have no shirts on.
Yeah.
That's perfect for you. You're making a fortune in there.
No, we should definitely do it one day. One day.
The worst drink shake, Sparno.
Oh man, Spino Shake is
I
the
got
best
that.
thing ever.
We gotta have Sparno on
There was
eventually.
one thing James messed up. You guys were talking about the chef that has no sense of taste or smell,
Yeah.
and James goes like Anne Frank. You meant Helen Keller.
Did I say Anne Frank? Did I say Anne Frank?
Just locked in an attic. Oh, this soup tastes good.
All right, sorry, Anne Frank. Sorry, Anne Frank. I meant Helen Keller.
That's brilliant.
Oh God.
So the best Mexican spot, Taco Poblano in Yonkers.
Yeah,
Yeah, I've been telling you about it for years. Go there and check it out.
I'll go there today.
All right.
Taco Poblano.
I'll go there today. I'll clip it
If
in.
it goes in the book, it's going on.
You guys were talking the best pizza, Johnny's Mount Vernon. Paul mentioned that. It is.
Hold on. Speaking of Johnny's, is Johnny's the place that was viewed by El Presidente?
Yes, he gave it like a 9.3. One
Like
of his highest
something-
ratings.
Yeah, one of the highest ratings.
It's the best pizza
Oh,
for
might
sure.
stop there
You
and
guys,
get
if you didn't go there, you should go there. You definitely should go to Taco Poblano. Get the steak quesadilla. It's awesome.
I love
Jimmy B's
quesadillas.
steak quesadilla.
Get the steak quesadilla there. It's great. So also the being known thing as a being in this business, going out, going into your own business, going to other businesses, people knowing you. I hate that.
Yeah, right.
You don't
I
like it?
hate it. I hate when
I
people go,
don't-
oh, Phil, oh, how you doing? I'm like, I'm trying to just get high and fucking not talk to anyone.
Yeah. Listen, it has its cost benefits. It has its cost benefits. I was on a date one time. I went over to Bar Taco. Just casual. There was like 4 people or 5 people that came over. I was like, oh, James, hi, nice to meet you. And then the girl I was with was from out of town. She was like an air hostess. And she was like, who are you? I was like, don't worry about it. You know, even though it's like nothing, but it's
Yeah,
nice.
yeah, yeah.
But again, if you're out and you're looking for some peace and quiet and everybody's like, oh, hey. Like,
Yeah,
just-
most of the time
it's
you just want to be alone.
It's nice,
Yeah.
but like, let's say my mother comes out from Ireland, right? When my mother comes out from Ireland and I'm just trying to like hang out with my mother, and now it's like people aren't coming over saying hello. They're expecting me to come over and say hello, and now I'm sitting here with my mother, and I'm like, kind of have to say hello to these people, but like haven't seen you in years, and I want to sit here and enjoy time
Yeah.
with my family. Like, you know, which that it is a pain in the ass at the
Pain in
same
the
time,
ass.
but it does have its benefits also.
Yeah,
Like,
there's good and bad.
we went to the granola bar in Rye.
Yes,
We go to
yes,
the granola
yes.
bar in
Prime
Rye.
example.
No
Prime
one says
example.
anything to us. Me and James were sitting in this little booth. We have a couple of items. We have a cappuccino and we bounce. And then
But before we bounced, the host or the girl that was working, I think her name was Gabriella.
Yeah.
She was like, "Hey, you guys work at the Blind Pig, right?"
no, that was not. That was not there. That was in the cafe. That was in the.
That was the cafe.
We went to a cafe
Yeah.
next door.
Got me shot,
A
man.
lady said that to us.
Terrible.
But we're in the
Can't
granola
remember
bar.
Helen Keller.
You get hit in the face too much.
Man,
So
God,
we're sitting in this booth. No one says anything to us. We leave. Then we go next door to a little cafe and we grab a pastry. And we're grabbing a pastry and the lady's like, "Oh, you guys work in the Blind Pig, right?" And we're like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Oh, my friend Memo works there." And I'm like, "Oh, it's nice to meet you. Like, you know, hope to see you sometime." Next day, I'm working on the door.
She comes.
11 people from the granola bar show up.
Oh, wow.
The whole granola bar, the guy who owns it, all their staff who were there, and your one from the cafe. It's like
Nice.
they all talked about it.
yeah, that's right. She was there.
She
That's
was
where I
with
got
them.
confused.
So it's like
yeah.
the two groups, they
Yeah.
turned up. And it was great to have them. Like, you know, we
That's cool.
We gave them nice service and,
Yeah.
you know, they had a great time.
Yeah,
and
they were
it
cool.
was fun to have them there. But it goes to show, it's like we went to the granola bar.
They
They
make
obviously recognized us. Now the girl next door, she comes in and is like, "Oh, the guys from the Blind Pig were in here. Oh, you know, that's who it was." And then next thing you know, the whole lot of them show up here. on
Oh,
Friday
she
night.
didn't come to you. She came to them and said it.
She must
Oh,
have
that's cool.
because they all turned up together.
But that's
yeah.
how small the industry. I mean, that's not small, but like how big the industry.
How small the world is.
Like, yeah, you
is
just
what you mean.
The next thing you know, you have 3 restaurants coming in to
Bless me.
hang
Yeah.
out, and it's they all hang out together. We all hang out together.
Well, that's it. You know, but it does go to show. It's like when you go somewhere, people do know it, but they also know when you don't go. Right? So it's like,
Yep.
if you don't show, well, like for instance, let's say Cassidy. Cassidy opened up a bar tomorrow, I would be the first guy to walk
Yeah,
through the
yeah,
door.
yeah, definitely.
You know, like who opened up? Rory Quinn. Rory Quinn opened up a bar.
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet.
In
man.
Evoca.
Damn.
Man, tell Rory Quinn.
I'm sorry, Rory. Listen, I'm anti the city though for other reasons. So
Rory Quinn was meant to be naked and
open a
famous
bar in
with us.
Westchester.
But
I'll be
he
there.
opened up a bar. The next day I was there. I was there the second day they opened. Anytime anyone I know opens a spot, first thing I do is go and check it out.
Yeah, you guys came to Jackie B's right away. I remember. Yep, I
100%.
came here, of course. I don't come as much as I should, but
I think
Yeah,
even
it's
the,
not
even,
about coming as much as
Yeah.
you should. You should show face at least once. Like Madame George, Rory Dolan opened up Madame George, and a guy called Shawnee Hayden, and they opened it with Marshall. Marshall, great guy. He's a bartender now. He's helping them out over there at Madame George. He was in the Valerie. Pretty sure that he's partner in there, but don't know that for sure. I'm just making an assumption because he's putting in so much work to it. First day they opened up, I was there. You know, and they appreciated to see the support. You know,
Yeah,
he said it.
that's
But
nice.
I think it is important to show support to people doing what you want to do.
they remember.
Yeah, of course they do. You know,
You remember.
have
That's for sure. I remember.
I remember,
I remember who doesn't come.
of course.
And then it gets to a point where they haven't come in so long and they just can't come now. You know, I was like, if I come now, it's weird.
Yeah. What about did Declan go to Jackie B's?
I think he went to Growlers, not Jackie B's.
Right.
He didn't go to Jackie B's. He went to Growlers. I wasn't there. Elvira was working, and she saw him. He came to Growlers. Yeah.
It's about time. Second spot.
He should have came to Jackie B's.
He
He
should have
didn't.
came to Jackie B's. He hasn't
I-
been to the pig yet.
He hasn't been here.
Hasn't been to the pig.
Wow.
Right? But Rory Dolan came.
Okay, that's good.
Right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Rory.
Yep.
yeah, Roy's the man.
But I do think it is.
Yeah, Declan should definitely come
Yeah.
here.
Speaking of it, we were touching about Archie Grand before. I think I've been to Archie Grand more times since it's been open than any other bar I've been in White Plains.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. It's right down there.
I've never been to O'Connor's.
Never.
Never.
I've been to O'Connor's plenty of times.
Right? Oh, I've went
Yeah.
to Growlers, and I haven't been to what's the place that opens where you like the Brazilian spot, right over here.
Fogo.
Fogo
Haven't
de
been to
Chao.
Fogo de Chao. Haven't the only places that I've been to in White Plains. Haven't been to the Cantina. The only places I've been to in White Plains. I would rather go cook my own food. Honestly, I go home every night and cook. I'd rather cook, but I'll go and support Paula Pax. I'll go and support Vinny down at Archie Grand.
Well, Pat's got good food though.
Yeah,
Pax
it does.
got
That's
great
great food. But even at that, it's like
Archie's food's good too, though, actually. Yeah.
I'm only going for to show support.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
that's-
the only real.
I'm the
reason.
same way, man.
Yeah, because the reality is like their food might be good, but I want steak.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
And I can cook my own
I
steak.
agree.
Yeah.
Like, all the places I go to, it's because I'm showing support. At this point in my life,
That's all it's about.
I only go to a few places. If I go out, I barely go out anyway. But if I'm going to go out, I'm going to the people that at least come to my place if they own a place. You know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. That's what it's all about. Like when I'm down in the city, I try to hit spots. I'll try hit spots for research and development, but then I'll also try hit spots where I know like these guys are good guys. I just want to let them know that I've been here to support them.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's about. It's a nice community to be in. But lads, we got to do the cocktail of the week, right?
Ooh. I've been waiting for this.
I'm
getting sober over here.
right. I'm gonna go and grab the cocktail of the week.
What do you got?
So the cocktail of the week is a cocktail made by Julio Santos, procured for our new fall-winter menu. It's called Operation Midnight Climax. It's an Easter egg cocktail named after our soon-to-be-open new speakeasy. It's an infusion of orange peel and scotch, mixed with a little bit of cacao, Gifford's cacao for sweetness. You've got a touch of Punta Mez, sweet vermouth in there, a small amount of citrus. It's shaken and served in a coupe with an orange peel expression. It's gonna be excellent, and I can't wait to try it. It almost the cacao liquor brightens up the orange and gives you almost like an orange chocolate kind of feel to it, but goes down a treat.
I love orange chocolate.
So when I drink this cocktail, I'm not going to pretend that I know anything.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say it's good or bad.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh, the notes of orange, like you guys do. I don't know anything about this stuff.
No,
I got no palate.
no, but you know what, man? Most people come into a cocktail bar don't know. And
Yeah.
it's not your job to know.
Yeah.
So
you guys know. I see every cocktail. You're like, oh, a nice hint of whatever. I'm like,
Nice hint
man,
of
what?
Yeah, we're like looking for a trauma.
Yeah, but here, funny when you say that. We went to the coffee place yesterday, right? We went to the Climbing Wolf, right? And the guy's like to me, "Taste this espresso. You taste notes of strawberry," and I'm like, "Strawberry and espresso." I'm like, and then I smell it, and I'm like, "Right, I know what you're talking about, but I would never drink this and be like, oh, notes of strawberry."
Was it?
It definitely was, and he could tell because he's obviously drank so much espressos.
Yeah.
To me, I was like, right, it's definitely something in there, and I can understand if you worked your palate and worked your senses on figuring out the notes in
know.
it. Yeah, 100%. But people do that in coffee a lot, right?
Yeah. Same in wine. It's like if you
forget
it's
about it.
important to know, I think, that just with sommeliers in general, the sommelier exam I think has been around for like 30 years.
It's like impossible.
There's like 200 master sommeliers on the planet, and the exam's been around for like 40 years. Like any of those sommeliers can drink wine, tell you what year it was made, what grape it was made
I know,
with,
that's insane.
what country it's from, and what region in the country, and probably what season in that region, in that country, that grape was made with.
Here's the thing.
Crazy.
Usually the reason why
Nuts.
the
Yeah, it
reason
really
why
is nuts.
certain years are so good is down to the atmosphere in that year. So like maybe it was a humid year, maybe it was a lot of sun that year.
Yeah,
so
that's crazy.
These guys will know, oh, this is a 1978.
Remembering the year,
That
like-
1978
The climate.
was
Yeah.
hot and humid.
Crazy.
So I know that this grape would have been X because it was hot and humid.
Yeah.
So they know everything about everything, which
Yeah.
is kind of crazy. Right?
Yeah, I was in the Washington Inn in Avalon. No, it's in Cape May, New Jersey. I've been to the Washington Inn.
No.
It's a Michelin star place.
Lovely.
They got a sommelier in there.
Nice.
And I remember ordering the wine. The person was like telling me all these things. Like, just give me the cheapest wine. You got.
Yeah, exactly.
Just give me the Josh.
I'm gonna drink a couple bottles. So give me
Yeah.
the cheapest one.
When we were in the coffee shop yesterday, the dude JB, he was talking on the side about like the machine, and he's going through all the little details. And I'm like, man, there's so much effort going in. He says, I'm reading a book at the moment by an astrophysicist who works with coffee machines.
Wow.
And he says it gets so technical if you want to get into it. I'm like, wow, that is crazy.
I feel like that's
Astrophysicist.
everything, right? Right.
But
Like,
that's, people
like-
go to that extent with these things.
and that's when
crazy.
you become a nerd. Like in that field.
Yeah, a nerd at the.
Hey, yo,
You got to
Here
be a
we go.
nerd at something in your life. You
guys,
know?
this is David Jefferson, a.k.a. Jufu.
How we doing, baby?
What's up, Jufu? Thank you, man.
Here we are, boss.
Nice one.
Do I put this in?
You can.
I will.
Look for the notes of orange.
Can't get it in.
My man. Thanks, Jufu.
I'm
Thanks.
gonna poke myself in the eye drinking it like this.
Cheers, gentlemen.
That's what she also said.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers, lads.
So So the cocktail of the week.
Wow, that's
is
Scotch.
this is the Ron Burgundy. So the Ron Burgundy cocktail is a cocktail that I made. It's an infused Scotch with a raisin bitters. The Scotch is infused with orange peels, and it's just got a touch of sugar to brighten it up. It's almost like an old-fashioned style. And as you can see, it's served with a couple of nice raisins on top of an orange peel.
I swear, I don't drink Scotch.
Yeah.
I hate it, but this is good.
Yeah. It's very light. It's very, for anyone who's like...
I could drink this all day.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's dangerous, right?
Big time. It's probably all liquor too, right?
There's nothing in this but 2 ounces of Scotch, a little bit of bitters, and like a bar spoon of sugar.
Wow, that's
smooth.
insane.
That's
Yeah.
clean.
This is normally how they work. There's normally like 2 to 3
How can it be?
ounces of liquor.
Doesn't make any sense.
And then people are like, that's so small. And the next thing you have 2, and you're like, whoa, what the hell just happened? We got to revisit the garnish game.
You got another one?
Poked himself in the ice.
I'm already
Eye
done.
like 4 times.
Yeah. You got. How do you
Yeah.
figure this out with this? With the
Just don't poke yourself.
you
in
can't
the
put
eye.
it in. Like
Man,
Put it
it's
across.
actually, the garnish is meant to be a suppository.
just put it in your ass.
Yeah.
Hey. Just put it in your ass. Thank you.
That was awesome. I love that drink. I'm gonna finish it really fast. I'm gonna go walk dogs, real nice and tipsy. After this.
The dogs will be happy. You'll be happy.
Yeah. So, Trust the System podcast comes out every Friday before the Saturday and Sunday football games. You get all your picks on it. We have a Twitter account and an Instagram account. If you watch the podcast, you'll be able to see what those are. And listen, it's free money. Don't miss out. If you like to gamble, or if you even don't like to gamble, if you know how to gamble, watch it and you'll be a winner. Plain and simple.
Trust the system.
Trust the system.
All right, lads. Another episode of Naked and Famous in the bank. Thanks, anybody, for watching. Please subscribe, like, and follow us on IG. It's also on YouTube and Spotify at Naked and Famous Podcast. Gentlemen, I believe we have a week to prepare for. Another week of hospitality.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Here we go again.
God
Cheers,
bless.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me, guys. It was great.
Cheers.
Appreciate it.